Yeah, only one win in their past 16 games in all competitions for Chelsea. A 3-1 win at Bournemouth back in May as both teams make their way out on the pitch here. And as you would expect, flames shooting into the sky on the Stamford Bridge pitch and warm applause from the home crowd. Luton players applaud their fans away to the left-hand side, dressed all in white, blue, black socks for them tonight, and it's kind of the reverse for Chelsea, of course. Blue shirts, blue socks, white socks. Listen, Scott, I've got to say here tonight, in terms of what Luton bring to the game, Mauricio Pochettino was talking about aggression before the game, saying that his players would have to match Luton's aggression. If they are going to get something here tonight, Luton, how do they go about it?
Yeah, look, we talked about, no one's expecting them to get anything, and it is a bit like a cup game, but you don't want the games ticking off where you don't pick up any points. So if they can try and get a point, that's exactly what they should be trying to do. How do they do that? Well, first of all, they need to be solid. It's a 3-5-2, it'll probably be more a 5-3-2, really, in terms of possession. But they've got to get back to being direct in the way that got them up last season. We know that the front two in Morris and Adebayo terrorised the Championship defences at times. And again, we've talked about Colwill, Silva and Disasi. How about they're all trying to have different reasons why they should be in the side. Silva with his age, Colwill trying to prove himself, and Disasi a new signing. They need to get the balls in behind. They need to try and rough them up a little bit. And look, you never know if they score that first goal. Levi was saying about how Chelsea haven't scored the first goal yet. If Luton get the first goal tonight, it's going to be interesting to see how the crowd react.
Amazingly, Chelsea have conceded first in their last 6 Premier League matches. Their manager says they have to start positively tonight. Listen, this isn't the first, it won't be the last time that the term David and Goliath is used to describe one of Luton Town's matches this season. The challenge ahead of them, simply mammoth. From non-league to the Premier League in a decade, back in the top flight for the first time in 31 years, trying to do their fans and that crest proud. Well, pride is just about all Chelsea had to play for last season. They didn't even manage that, really. A 12th place finish. The recruitment so far looks like a university open day. But there is a belief that Pochettino can inspire his students to top marks. Failure is not an option. Will we get the first big shock of the season? Let's find out. It's Chelsea versus Luton Town, live and exclusive on Talksport with the former Chelsea fullback Scott Minto and Joe Shannon.
Thanks, Hugh. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another massive weekend of football on the Talksport network. And we start on this Friday night with what some will tell you should be a mismatch, but it's testament to the beauty and the sheer unpredictability of English football that Luton are here to face Chelsea for the first time ever in the Premier League. 10 years ago today, Luton were languishing in the 5th tier, while Chelsea were at the summit of the top flight. Football shows no great respect for reputations, though. So can Luton produce what would be a remarkable shock, or will Chelsea pick up their first win under Mauricio Pochettino beneath the lights at Stamford Bridge tonight? Here are the two sides. Chelsea, Sanchez in goal, Disasi, Thiago Silva and Colwill the defenders, Gusto and Chilwell the wing-backs, Enzo Fernandez and the £115 million man, the British transfer record player Moises Caicedo in midfield, Sterling and Gallagher behind Jackson up front. So a full day for Caicedo in place of the injured Chukwuemeka. For Luton, Kaminski the goalkeeper, Burke, Lockyer and Bell the defenders, Kabore and Giles the wing-backs, Nakamba, Chong and Barkley. Yes, Ross Barkley back in the Premier League and make his Luton debut today against his old club in midfield. Morris and Adebayo are the two up front. Chelsea royal blue with white socks will get the game underway, playing from right to left towards the shed end in the first half. Luton all in white with an orange stripe down the middle of the shirts and black socks from left to right towards the Matthew Harding end of the stadium. The referee blows his whistle. We're off and underway. And Chelsea on the attack straight away towards Raheem Sterling. And now Jackson with a snapshot from the edge of the penalty area. That will trickle through to the Luton goalkeeper, Thomas Kaminski. The first ever Premier League meeting between Chelsea and Luton ahead of a blockbuster sporting weekend to come. The home of football on Friday nights and your go-to destination 24/7, 365 days a year is Talksport. And Luton have possession very early on with Marvellous Nakamba, formerly of Aston Villa, finding Amari Bell, the left-sided centre-half, hoists the ball over the halfway line towards Elijah Adebayo, and it's picked up by Barkley. His first touches as a Luton player against his old team. He wins Luton a free kick midway into the Chelsea half. A capacity crowd at Stamford Bridge. The skies are dark now, the floodlights are on, relatively chilly for the late summer, and alongside me for the commentary, high up in the gantry, is the former Chelsea defender Scott Minto.
Yeah, just right at kick-off, Raheem Sterling actually started running before the referee blew his whistle. Nearly got in as well, so it would have been interesting to see what happened there. But the first time Luton got the ball in their own third, what do? They knocked it long to Adebayo. I can see them doing that all night tonight. That's what they need to do.
What a fairy tale this is. Luton Town in the Premier League as the free kick's whipped into the penalty area, punched away two-handed by the giant Chelsea goalkeeper, very much the number one this season, Robert Sanchez, all in bright yellow, 6'6", as he dived to knock that clear, and eventually the ball goes out of play for a Chelsea throw in their left wing-back position on this near side, and the captain, Ben Chilwell, who skipped the side for the first time against West Ham, is going to leave it for Levi Colwill. 1 minute and 40 seconds played, Chelsea 0, Luton Town 0.
I was at Stamford Bridge here a couple of weeks ago for the Liverpool game, and I actually interviewed Robert Sanchez afterwards. I felt I needed a stepladder. He is massive.
He takes giant to a new level, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
The big goalkeeper. Scott Minto, former fullback, and of course you don't always have to be the tallest necessarily to play in that sort of position.
Correct.
We're not the tallest commentary team on the Talksport gantry today, but it's great to be here. A lot to look forward to over the weekend as Chelsea win a free kick midway inside their own half the field, 0-0, and we're only just underway if you're just joining us on Talksport. Tomorrow, Bournemouth against Tottenham in the Premier League at 12:30. At 3 o'clock, Manchester United against Nottingham Forest, and we go around the grounds with Old Trafford, our base for commentary. And then later in the evening, Fight Night Live, Alexander Usyk against Daniel Dubois. Full commentary from Wrocław in Poland on Talksport. Chelsea on the attack. Nice football from the team in blue. Malo Gusto, the Frenchman, on the right-hand side. Far side of the field, we have a bird's-eye view of the field of play. A steep, long drop to the touchline down below us. A little bit of rain in the sky again. Torrential rain in the build-up in West London, and Chelsea with Caicedo, the red and black boots on in the middle of midfield, conceded a penalty in defeat at West Ham last weekend. His crossfield pass came off the arm of the Luton number 9, Carlton Morris, but Chelsea regained possession. Chelsea popping the ball about nicely, but Luton holding firm, looking steady inside the first 3.5 minutes, and goalless it remains. What a story it is to have Luton in the Premier League, and of course back in the top division of English football for the first time since 1992, Scott.
Well, it's amazing to think that exactly a decade ago Luton were in the bottom half of the 5th tier of English football.
Yep.
Chelsea were top of the Premier League, they'd won the Europa League, and the year before that they'd won the Champions League. So it is truly an amazing story, one of the greatest in English football, to see Luton Town now in the riches of the Premier League.
Can see Maurizio Pochettino on the halfway line, right by the mouth of the tunnel in a dark suit tonight as Chelsea come forward. Jackson, explosive pace, racing into the penalty area, sets up Sterling on the angle. Sterling twisting, turning, shooting and blocked in front of the goalkeeper. Good defending by Luton Town, but they were under real pressure there. Jackson showed tremendous pace to surge up the middle for Chelsea. Sterling to the right, and his left-footed effort not enough, but Sterling's got it back again. Corner of the 18-yard box. Gusto on the overlap, crosses, turned behind by Lockyer. Chelsea corner, shed end. Chelsea 0, Luton 0, live on Talksport.
Can see exactly what Luton are trying to do. When they've got the ball, they try and go direct. When they haven't got the ball, they try and press high, and if the press is beaten, then they'll try and sit back. But Nicholas Jackson again, I mean, Chelsea generally have started really well, one-touch football. But Nicholas Jackson, the way he turned and ran with pace, Raheem Sterling did really well to cut back inside. Should have laid it off, went for a shot himself, but it's all Chelsea at the moment.
It's going to be Enzo Fernandez to take the corner, the number 8, high, right-footed over the head of Caicedo. Might have got a glancing blow on it. Chelsea have possession now on the near side, their left, and it's been a fast, energetic start from the home team. A start with great purpose, and now Fernandez again in the right wing position, crosses. That's come off Adebayo, comes back to Fernandez, down by the dead ball line. Adebayo, the 6'4" Luton striker, is there again, and it's deflected off him and gone out of play, and the referee's gone across to talk to the assistant here. What's he saying, Scott? Free kick to Chelsea.
Free kick. Maybe it hit.
Was he saying handball against Adebayo?
Maybe it hit his arm. Yeah, exactly. His arm was up to the 6'4" left back. not so much striker at the moment, because that's where he's playing, isn't he, Adebayo?
They are camped, aren't they, in the half to our left?
And that's what they need to do. You know, we knew that Chelsea were going to start well. Pochettino has said that. The whole crowd demand that. So Luton have just got to see out this initial period, first 15, 20 minutes.
A chastening start to life in the Premier League for Luton on the opening weekend against Brighton, albeit Brighton did score 2 of their 4 goals late on in the game, so it didn't necessarily reflect the entire 90 minutes, but it's Chelsea piling on the pressure in the early stages at Stamford Bridge. 0-0. Free kick whipped in by Chilwell. Up go the heads. Colwill is there. Thiago Silva back across goal. Sterling on the volley. Good save, Kaminsky. He struck that so powerfully, Sterling. And Kaminsky, when it was straight at him, but the goalkeeper managed to get his body behind the ball, and not only that, managed to hold it right on the goal line, and it's still 0-0.
Well, do you know what? The way the ball was kind of just kept going by Chelsea, then it went out to Raheem Sterling. It was just inside the box on the volley. He's telling himself, just get a good connection. Don't worry about where it's going to go, but hit the target. He's actually hit it so straight and so clean, it's gone straight at Kaminsky.
And here come Luton on the attack themselves, with Kabore, the right wing-back, crossing in from the near side touchline. Robert Sanchez is there to claim the Chelsea goalkeeper at the corner of the 18-yard box. It's a great cathedral, Stamford Bridge. On nights like this, it really comes alive beneath the floodlights as we look down towards the near side, the left, where Chelsea are coming forward again. Chilwell looking to steer across towards the edge of the 18-yard box, but he's blocked off by a combination of 2 Luton players in the white shirts with the solitary orange stripe down the middle. Burke and Kabore did enough initially. Issa Kabore, who's on loan from Manchester City, and then Adebayo, the former Walsall man, tracking back to win a free kick just inside the Luton half, and actually right in front of the watching manager Rob Edwards, who's done such an outstanding job since being brought into the club. Scott, remember, in November last season, he hasn't even had a full season in charge of Luton yet.
No, absolutely incredible job he came in. Of course, he was Watford manager before then, wasn't he? Not long enough for the Luton fans to dislike him straight away, but what a job he's done.
Well, they certainly love him now. They were chanting his name before the game as Levi Colwill shrugs aside Adebayo, and the Chelsea centre-half has the ball midway inside his own half of the field. Hull lead Bristol City by a goal to 0 in the Championship, live on Talksport 2. And Luton are on the attack now, away at Chelsea, with Chong darting into the penalty area and whipping the ball cross-field with his left boot across the face of goal, and it's gone behind into the lower tier of the Matthew Harding end. And there's a player in Tahith Chong, a summer signing at Luton, who was so promising as a youngster at Manchester United, but never really made the grade at Old Trafford. He couldn't test Robert Sanchez there. 0-0 it remains.
He's got a lot of ability, hasn't he? You can see him on that left foot. No one wanted to touch him once he got inside the box, and he actually created a really good opportunity where really he'd be thinking to himself, should be hitting the target from there.
Chelsea want it back on the halfway line, and Sterling has played it through towards Jackson. Jackson right-handed to the penalty area, not beyond Lockyer. The tall and sturdy Luton skipper, black boots on, the captain's armband, and he scoops the ball over the halfway line and away from danger. Morris is chasing, Axel Disasi is there to win it back for Chelsea, and Chelsea will start to build another attack from midway into their own half.
Do you know what? That was brilliant reading of the game from Lockyer. It really was. He's not going to beat Nicholas Jackson in a foot race, so he just dropped off. Jackson tried to run, he got himself in exactly right position. Great defending.
Good noise at Stamford Bridge. 3,000 Luton fans have travelled, occupying 2 tiers at the shed end, and they're making plenty of noise. But it's Chelsea who are making plenty of noise on the field so far. They've dominated the early exchanges, but we're yet to see a breakthrough after the first 9 minutes. Chelsea in possession now with Caicedo. That £115 million price tag, which, even for a player of his undoubted ability, will certainly weigh heavily on his mind.
No one's worth that unless you're Ronaldo or Messi, but it is what it is. That was what it was paid for. He's got to be able to deal with that. He's young enough to be able to, and I think he's good enough. He believes in himself. Wasn't a great debut, but he's getting a lot of touches already tonight.
Looks a more confident player, as you can imagine. Cross from Gusto from the right-hand side for Chelsea, headed away by Lockyer from in and around the penalty spot, the Luton centre-half in the middle of that back three. Luton are chasing shadows at times. Enzo Fernandez with a deep ball into the penalty area, only half cleared by Bell. Gallagher, 25 yards out, shooting range, edge of the D, through for Sterling, lovely feet. Sterling, can he get the shot in? Very tight angle here, Sterling, and still he twists and turns. And now Gallagher with his back to goal. Sets up Malo Gusto, first time right-footed cross, headed away by Lockyer. Why didn't Sterling shoot there, Scott Minter?
You know what, first of all, great play from Conor Gallagher. He got the ball, received it, looked like he was going to shoot and slipped Sterling in. I think, to be fair to Luton, they had 2 defenders around him and never really gave him the opportunity of thinking he could get a shot off. Again, great defending by Luton. They need to keep this going for the next 10 or so minutes at the very least.
Friday Night Football on Talksport and the Talksport Network, your destination for 450 live commentaries across the course of the season, including 110 exclusive match commentaries from the top flight. Bournemouth against Tottenham, Manchester United against Nottingham Forest, back-to-back tomorrow on Talksport, and then to Poland we go for the boxing. We've got Summer Nation Series Rugby, 3 games live for you tomorrow as well on Talksport 2. We'll have PGA Golf, we'll have F1 updates this weekend. Your top sporting destination, Talksport and Talksport 2. Here is Thiago Silva, who caresses the ball down neatly on his chest. Such composure, almost a nonchalance about Thiago Silva, the elegance of the man. 38 years of age, 39 next month, Thiago Silva. He continues to confound Scott.
Can't work it out quickly. Does that mean he's younger or older than Hugh?
I think he's
got to be a lot younger,
slightly,
surely. He looks a lot younger anyway.
The ball floated up the inside left channel towards Chilwell for Chelsea, trying to bring it down by the dead ball line. The cross took a slight deflection. Goalkeeper and defender left it for each other. Lockyer and Kaminski, almost a momentary lapse in communication. But fortunately for Luton, the goalkeeper, all in bright pink Kaminski, who had a lot of work to do against Brighton, made a number of good saves, as well as conceding 4 goals, is able to pounce on it. And you have to give Luton credit. 12 minutes into the match, they have not had much of the ball, but Rob Edwards will be relatively pleased with what he's seen so far. His goalkeeper's not had a save to make as yet. Just as I say that, though, Chelsea with Sterling, the ever-dangerous Sterling, driving through the middle again. Tries a 1-2 with Jackson. They do look vulnerable to the pace of Chelsea in that front 3. De Luton early on here. That's a poor tackle by Enzo Fernandez. A foul on Kabore. And Luton have a free kick to the right edge of their own penalty area.
Yeah, look, it's 85% possession to 15. It's all Chelsea at the moment, but Luton will expect that, and they won't necessarily have a problem. They've been under pressure. Yes, they have created one really good chance where Chong, I felt, should have hit the target. But apart from that, they knew this was going to happen. It was all about the first 20-25 minutes. Get through that, and then if you can try and impose just a little bit of your play onto Chelsea, then fine, because all the while it stays 0-0. The Stamford Bridge faithful will be thinking, when is this goal going to come? So any misplaced passes after that, there'll be a few little groans. So at the moment, Luton very much under pressure. They'll be delighted with the way they've defended so far, though.
Luton's last top division win, April of 1992. Chelsea 0, Luton 0. On Talksport, 30 minutes played with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Chelsea against Luton, live right now for $11.99. No contracts. Search Now Sports. There's a free kick to Chelsea in that left wing-back position. And actually Chelsea at times, Scott, as we saw in the game against West Ham, operating with a back 4, with Colwill almost as a left-back and Chilwell bombing on a little further forward.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is when they have the ball, it's 3 at the back, so both wing-backs sort of push on, and when they don't have the ball, you know, it's Malagusto who kind of drops off into a back 4, and Chilwell plays almost like a left midfielder. He'll always try to bomb on. I thought he was superb against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge a couple of weeks ago, and with the sort of lungs that he's got and able to get up and down for the full 90 minutes, you want to try and make the most of that.
You can see Pochettino issuing instructions from his technical area. That's a lovely ball by Colwill over the top to find Jackson, caught on the penalty area, shifts it to Chilwell, back to Enzo Fernandez, rifles it over the top left-footed. All that was missing for Chelsea was the finish, and Enzo Fernandez, who missed from the spot against West Ham last Sunday, still looking for his first Chelsea goal.
Do you know what? It's brilliant football, though. It really is, isn't it? And the way that Chilwell got forward, Nicholas Jackson got in, the little sort of 1-2s for them, and the layoff for Enzo Fernandez, I thought it may have been a little bit too hard. He had to take that touch. He got onto his left foot, and Kaminski was going one way, the ball went the other, so he was completely beaten, but in the end it was just over.
A long ball downfield by Luton towards Adebayo, who's held it up neatly away from Disasi, shrugs aside the Chelsea centre-half. Now it's Ross Barkley against his old team, threads it left to Ryan Giles on the overlap, low ball into the penalty area, steered up into the Matthew Harding stand, high and away from danger by Disasi, but at the expense of a Luton corner. And if you saw Ryan Giles last season on loan from Wolves at Middlesbrough in the Championship, you know that when he gets into that sort of position, he's a real danger. Actually, if anything, you might have expected to do better with the cross.
Well, he had the most assists in the Championship last season. He has got a wonderful left foot. Again, it was good positional play from Chelsea, but this is where Luton need to try and do something if they are going to get something out of this game. They can't just rely on a clean sheet.
Luton corner on the far side of the field. Giles will take it. It'll be a left-footed out-swinging delivery into the near post, and Barkley takes a deflection, hooked away, thumped away downfield. by Thiago Silva to the halfway line. Chelsea 0, Luton 0, 15.5 minutes gone. Rob Edwards, the Luton boss, very much a tracksuit manager. He's hopping up and down in his technical area, and he's a very intelligent and astute figure, Rob Edwards, and certainly a relaxed figure after the first couple of weeks of the new season. Remember, Luton have only played one game. They haven't played at Kenilworth Road yet, just while they finish the updates to the ground itself. But he said in the build-up to this match, look, expectation or lack of expectation actually might be a good thing for us. He feels Luton can come and shock teams, and they are an unknown quantity, that's for sure, in the Premier League. It's still Hull City 1, Bristol City 0 in the 7:30 kickoff in the Championship, live on Talksport 2. Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. We'll have commentary of Watford against Blackburn on Sunday. Here come Chelsea with Malo Gusto. Out to the right-hand side, the far side, and Sterling. A live wire. Dynamic, quick feet from Sterling. He dribbles past Giles. He's still going, Sterling! It's a brilliant goal for Chelsea. He just rolled it into the bottom corner. Outrageous from Raheem Sterling. Back to his best. And Chelsea have the lead at Stamford Bridge. He just waltzed past the Luton defenders. He steered it beyond Kaminski. Chelsea 1, Luton 0. That's a fine Raheem Sterling goal.
Absolutely. Look, before I talk about Raheem Sterling, it was really good 1-2 touch play. The ball was on the left side. The way they shifted it to the right, Gusto gave him the ball. But what wonderful skill and ability and pace and composure and finishing from Raheem Sterling. That's what we've been wanting to see from this time last season. It wasn't good for him last season, but already he started brilliantly. He's cut inside two, he's cut inside another, and he's just slotted it into the far post. Just brilliant play. 3-4 Luton players around him, but not wanting to get anywhere near him for fear of giving away a penalty. Don't allow him to come inside, but once he's come inside, it's so difficult to stop him with pace. A wonderful goal, a wonderful finish. Luton's worst nightmare. They were doing really well defensively despite being under pressure. It is just what Chelsea, the fans and Pochettino wanted, getting that first goal.
And what Raheem Sterling wanted too. Showed real flashes, well, more than flashes against West Ham. He was excellent, and he's looked on top form from the very start tonight. And Raheem Sterling has given Chelsea the lead. Chelsea 1, Luton 0, and Chelsea deserve their advantage with 18 minutes on the clock on Talksport. Goals were a huge problem for Chelsea last season, but maybe a relatively familiar face, a man in his second season with the club, forget all the new signings, and maybe Raheem Sterling is going to produce something special here in West London across the course of the campaign.
I'm always have been a big fan of Raheem Sterling, of how he's done things on and off the field. I think he's a very classy guy, I really do, as well as a fantastic player, and everything he's had to deal with. But last year was not good enough for him, and he knows that. He came in on a lot of money, he's earning a lot of money. I don't really like to talk about transfer fees, but are you justifying your salary? Last year he wasn't. This year he already looks like a totally different player under Pochettino.
And suddenly Luton, the Premier League new boys, are on the back foot here. These were the nights that the supporters were looking forward to after that fairy tale win in the Championship playoffs on penalties at Wembley against Coventry City at the very end of last season. But it is a welcome to life in the Premier League that won't be much welcome so far for Rob Edwards' team. A long way to go on the night here at Stamford Bridge, but Chelsea good value for their 1-0 lead, and they're moving the ball quickly and with good purpose. Chelsea, it's Disasi on the halfway line to the right of the three centre-halves, back in field and square to Thiago Silva, standing at the lip of the centre circle, and now the tall Colwill with that long sleeve royal blue shirt on. Malo Gusto, the Frenchman, making his full home debut tonight. His first start for Chelsea was at West Ham at the weekend. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. Jackson and Luton Town 0. Jackson with his back to goal, spinning and turning and conceding a free kick, a foul on Chong. And here's the former Chelsea defender, Scott Minton.
Yeah, Chelsea need to keep up this tempo, keep up this intensity. Just because they got the first goal, think it's 0-0, think they'll still need another goal, because while it's 1-0, Luton are still in this game, and they will have some chances at some point, whether it's first half or second. They will try and come into it. So get that second goal and kill the game off as early as possible.
Ross Barkley against his old team has won it back in a central position. He's 30 yards from goal, surrounded by blue shirts. Goes back to Chong. Chong with the lime green boots on and the long curly hair. Sets up Barkley. Angles the ball to the left-hand side, and Giles. First touch is a good one. Cross towards Morris. Steered up into the air by Thiago Silva. Away to our right in front of the Matthew Harding end as Chelsea scramble the ball clear only as far as Luton Town's Amari Bell. And not since the early 1990s have these two met at league level, the first league meeting since December 1991. Rob Edwards, the Luton boss, was just 9 years of age. Here is Issa Kabore for Luton. Good ball infield to Adebayo. First touch is good. He spins away from two in Chelsea blue, but he gives it straight to Enzo Fernandez. And Chelsea, looking a side with great composure tonight, have the ball back. And Maurizio Pochettino said before the game he expects the goals to flow. He expects results to come. He'll be very happy with the first 21 minutes.
He'll be absolutely delighted. Just fair play to Levi Colwill there. You know, the two strikers for Luton have not had any kind of service, but Adebayo was able to get the ball down, and Colwill was all over him, and he made sure that he wasn't able to lay the ball off. So again, that's what we talked about. How can Luton get something out of this game? They somehow need their strikers, their big strikers, to rough up the back three of Chelsea, but Colwill showing he's up for the physical challenge.
We've got live football aplenty this weekend, boxing as well, and once the weekend's done, the best place to get all the reaction to all the action is on Talksport Breakfast every morning from 6 a.m. Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend on Mondays and Tuesdays. Adam Brazil in the chair Wednesdays to Fridays. White and Jordan from 10 till 1. And you can catch up on everything White and Jordan related on their Outspoken podcast. That extraordinary interview with Mike Dean that you don't want to miss, the former referee, earlier this week on the Outspoken podcast. Make sure you download the episode to check it all out. Here is Disasi for Chelsea, on to Malo Gusto. Far side in front of that, a four-tiered West Stand, very smart looking on the far side of the field. The skies are dark up ahead. Axel Disasi forward to Caicedo for Chelsea, just inside the Luton half. He spins away from Marvellous Nakamba, and Luton nowhere near Conor Gallagher as he threads the ball towards the left, and Fernandez quickly into the penalty area towards Jackson. Jackson dribbles the ball out of play under pressure from Lockyer. Chelsea 1, Luton 0 for the latest odds. Head to Ladbrokes, where right now Chelsea 1-16 to go on and win. Luton Town 50-1 to produce a comeback victory. The draw at 11-1. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. And here come Luton, trying to build from the back with Amari Bell. I guess as the newly promoted side, Scott, the odds are against them. There's certainly no lack of spirit in this Luton team, and of course a heck of a long way to go in the game.
Yeah, do you know what, I'm going to out him. Adrian Durham sent me a text a little bit earlier. He disagreed with what I said about Luton and should be going for a draw here. And I think Chelsea have shown actually the performances of the last two games. They've been very, very good, just not able to go on and see the game out. And obviously they're yet to do that so far. But in this particular game, we're halfway through the first half. I think they've been nothing short of superb in terms of everything really. The way they've defended, the way they've passed the ball, creating chances. And Luton have done well to keep it to 1 at the moment.
That's the voice of Scott Minto. 3 seasons here at Stamford Bridge in the mid-1990s. Rob Edwards has hardly left his position at the very foot of this main stand. We're pretty much at the back row, and he's a lone figure on the edge of his small technical area. Takes a swig from a water bottle. Luton 1-0 down at Chelsea. They have the ball on the halfway line with Ross Barkley on his Luton debut. Back to Kaminski, the former Blackburn goalkeeper. Kaminski clears, floats the ball high towards the left, a glancing blow off the head of Morris, and now Giles by the far side left touchline. Back to Morris. Luton are building here. Morris corner of the penalty area, deflected cross towards the far post, and Kabore brought down by Chong. Chong with his back to goal, gets it back from Nakamba. Luton continue to keep possession. Good football from the away team. Here is Kabore. Chelsea have got plenty of men back behind the ball. Kabore whips in a high looping cross. It's a poor delivery under pressure from Chilwell, and he slices it behind and away for a goal kick to Chelsea.
Yeah, really good defending from Chilwell there. I could see what Kabore is trying to do, thinking I'm not quite sure I'm able to just beat him in a one-on-one here, so I'll just try and get myself half a yard and then whip it round him. But because Chilwell was so close, he wasn't able to do that. So good defending from the left back, or should I say left midfielder.
Well, I think the game has settled down a little after Chelsea's frenetic opening. They've got the goal through Raheem Sterling. Malo Gusto's given it away, and Luton have won it back on the halfway line. Southend 2, Eastleigh 0, a latest score in the National League. Solihull 1, Halifax Town 0, so Solihull would go top of the table as it stands. It's Hull 1, Bristol City 0 at half-time in the Championship. The second half will be live over on Talksport 2. That's your home of the EFL. Bromley lead at Rochdale by a 1-0 elsewhere in the National League, and you are up to date. Was that a fist pump from Scott Minto?
It's my local club, Bromley.
Ah. So it's all going well for Scott Minto so far tonight.
Can we stop the night now?
What, 25 and a half minutes in?
No, I love it.
Here come Luton with Nakamba. A 10-yard shy of the halfway line at no great pace. Now the leggy Adebayo, wearing number 11, dropping deep towards the halfway line. Luton have two physically imposing but also technically quite gifted front players. They haven't really got the ball into their feet, onto their chests at all in the game so far, though, as Chelsea win it back. Caicedo's got it on the halfway line, and now Enzo Fernandez about 10 yards in front of the lip of the centre circle. He's dead centre in the middle of the Luton half, square to Malo Gusto, and now the goal scorer Sterling with the brown and black boots on. Sterling hugging the touchline, and Chelsea content to keep the ball at walking pace, and Luton have got everybody in white back behind the ball. Chelsea playing from right to left in the first half. That's a sloppy pass from Disasi, taken up by Adebayo, and needless from Disasi, and Adebayo has put it through to the left, and Morris's touch takes him away from goal, down by the dead ball line, and now he's into the penalty area, angle extremely tight, and he tried to pull it back, but Colwill was there to cut it out. It was another nervy moment and a careless pass, a needlessly careless pass from Disasi of Chelsea, as Lockyer hauls down Jackson just shy of the halfway line. Free kick to Chelsea, yellow card for the Luton captain. Chelsea 1, Luton 0.
Well, two things there. Again, I talked about how, and I don't want to keep comparing him to Didier Drogba, but he just looks as if so strong, Nicholas Jackson, the way he turns with the ball, and then he's got that physicality that defenders almost just trying to pull him back, and that's exactly what Tom Lockyer did. And slightly worrying he's staying down and asking for treatment now, but that was Luton's opportunity there. Really sloppy play, try and counter-attack very quickly. Morris's first touch just took him a little bit away, and then again really good defending from Levi Colwill. It was a one-on-one situation, a little bit wide, and he did have a little bit of help, but he made sure that Morris couldn't do anything with the ball. Chelsea still need to be careful though in not giving the ball away and letting Luton go and have pace, because the front two do have pace, and they need to be careful with that.
Chelsea 1, Luton 0 then. 27 and a half minutes gone on Talksport. Jackson's being treated by the two Chelsea physios. Tomorrow in the Premier League, game day returns to the network. Bournemouth against Tottenham in the Premier League at 12:30. At 3 o'clock, Manchester United against Nottingham Forest, and we'll go around the grounds during our commentary as well. And then we've got live boxing for you. Fight Night Live from Wrocław in Poland tomorrow night on Talksport for Usyk against Dubois. Also tomorrow on Talksport 2, 3 Summer Nation Series rugby commentaries. England against Fiji, Scotland against Georgia, Ireland against Samoa, and a sigh of relief no doubt for Pochettino and every Chelsea fan among the 38,000 or so at Stamford Bridge, because Jackson is back on his feet and ready to go. And of course, look, Didier Drogba is a Chelsea legend, to say the least, Scott Minter, but you're right, he's got that explosive quality about him, that unpredictability, Jackson.
He just has the attributes of, and you know, let's wait and see him play like that for the next 4 or 5 years, and then we can have a proper comparison. But he just, the way his touch, his strength, his pace, his movement, you know, he looks a superb signing. And one thing you don't want is when someone like him is trying to impact himself and make an impression on the club, you don't want him to be injured for that reason. But Chelsea also don't need another striker injured. We've also already got Nkunku out. Nicholas Jackson, I'm not quite sure who would be the next person in if he got injured as well. So I'm glad to see him get up.
Rochdale 1, Bromley 1 in the National League. Equaliser for Rochdale. Bromley now down to 10 men. Here come Chelsea with Sterling again, looking to drive infield from the right-hand side. Nakamba slides in on Gallagher and sends Gallagher flying to the ground. Chelsea have a free kick, far side of the field, almost right on that far side right touchline. Marvellous Nakamba gets a yellow card.
I knew we should have stopped the night then.
I know, I'm sorry, I cursed it, didn't I?
And going down to 10 men. But you're right in terms of this game, though, Joe. It's kind of, the intensity has died down a little bit, and that's because Chelsea, maybe just subconsciously, because they've got a goal up, they're quite happy with that goal. As I say, they need to keep up that intensity, get the 2-0. I don't see Luton coming back from 2, but 1-0, they're always in the game.
The free kick to Chelsea, far side as we look at it, about a yard infield, half a yard maybe. And almost level with the edge of the 18-yard box. 2 men in the Luton wall, Giles and Chong, taken short by Chilwell. Sterling's got it right-hand edge of the penalty area. Now Enzo Fernandez floats in a high cross. Colwill back post, headed away by Reece Burke. Before Colwill could reach it, Burke, the former West Ham defender, got his head to the ball, and it's spun out of play for a Chelsea corner in front of the Luton fans at the shed end away to our left. 1-0 Chelsea, half an hour gone.
Yeah, that was a training ground free kick, wasn't it? That was very well worked, but in the end it was good defending again from Luton. We said that many times. They're doing well. They're on the ropes here, just hanging in at staying 1-0.
Raucous applause for the Chelsea captain, the new skipper, at least in the last couple of games, Chilwell. It'll be a left-footed, out-swinging corner into the 6-yard box, headed away. Comes out to Malo Gusto, who slices that wide, right-footed, and out of play for a goal kick to Luton. Half-time in the rugby, New Zealand against South Africa. Talksport's Russell Hargreaves.
South Africa 14, New Zealand 0. The All Blacks down to 14 men. Their lock Scott Barrett yellow carded, then red carded for a second yellow. Sam Cane, their skipper, also in the sin bin at one stage. South Africans lead Sir Khaleesi, their captain, and Curtly Arendison with the 2 tries. Will Jordan with 1 for New Zealand, ruled out just before the break. 14-0 to the Springboks at Twickenham.
Here come Chelsea leading Luton by a goal to nil in the Premier League on the Friday Night Football live and exclusive to Talksport. Enzo Fernandez has given it away, and Tahith Chong has taken up possession. He's carried the ball into the Chelsea half for Luton. Now Barkley, centre circle, shoving the back from a retreating Sterling. That'll be a free kick to Luton. The referee, Rob Jones, was in a good position to see it. Barkley wanted to take it quickly. He won't be able to do so. Luton will have to knock it back to the centre circle. That might allow them to send the 3 centre halves, Burke, Lockyer and Bell, are a combination of the 3 forward. In fact, Bell is going to stand over this free kick. It's dead centre, so hard to find much angle with this sort of delivery, Scott Minto.
Yeah, no, you can't just do a straight ball. I mean, the referee had turned his head there, although Ross Barkley was trying to almost get Raheem Sterling booked by playing that quick free kick into him. Bell was kind of free there when the ball came to him.
Long ball up to the edge of the Chelsea penalty area by Ryan Giles. They took the free kick short, but it was a floated ball. A lot of air on it from Giles, and easy for Chelsea to head it away through Colwell. Jackson's miscontrol right in front of the Chelsea dugout. Pochettino, arms outstretched in that dark suit as Luton come forward with Kabore. Kabore's got good pace. He impressed against Brighton on the opening weekend, but he can't get beyond Colwell, who's having a good game, a confident display from the Chelsea centre-half so far. And here is Gusto over the halfway line. He's still only 20 years of age, Levi Colwell. He, of course, has signed this new contract, another long-term contract for a young player at Chelsea, and it's a Chelsea side that has the youngest average age of any squad in the Premier League, so it is a Chelsea very much with the future in mind, as well as, of course, the expectations that are always at Chelsea, Scott, of the present as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, he said it was an easy decision. I'm not quite so sure it was.
Here comes Sterling for Chelsea, corner of the penalty area. Sterling, the goal scorer, looking to set up Gusto on the underlap, but that's good defending by Giles to just shepherd the ball behind for a goal kick to Luton.
Yeah, great defending from Giles there. But I'm not sure it was, because if you're going to sign 6 years of your life away, you need to make sure you've at least got half a chance. And maybe of previous Chelsea managers, you know, who just wanted senior pros in the side, and maybe he would have, you know, gone to Brighton. I don't know. But now with Pochettino in, the way that the owners have come in and wanting this kind of youth, all he's probably said to the manager is, are you going to be open or giving me a chance? And Pochettino said yes, and he's playing so far.
That's a flick by Adebayo down the middle for Luton towards his strike partner, Carlton Morris, but Chelsea win the ball back with relative ease.
I also know that although he said he wants to look on a day-to-day basis and not look too far ahead, that England spot is very much up for grabs as one of the centre-halves alongside John Stones. So if he does have a good season, you know, he needs to be playing regular first-team football first. Now it looks like he might well be. If he has a good season, he's got every chance of getting in the national side.
He's now played in each of Chelsea's 3 Premier League matches to start the new campaign. And Chelsea just 1 win in 14 in the Premier League, either side of the summer. Chong has retrieved possession for Luton on the halfway line, and now Kabore hugging the near side touchline. Infield to Chong, who steers it square to the feet of Morris. Back it goes to Nakamba. Good football from Luton. It's picked up by Barkley 25 yards out. Rolls it to the left-hand side, and Giles, as Luton seek an equaliser. Live on Talksport, 10.5 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half, and Luton are a goal down at Chelsea. That's a careless ball from Nakamba. Picked up by Malo Gusto. Through the legs of Nakamba to find Sterling. He's got Enzo Fernandez ahead of him. Sterling didn't look up. He simply had his head down towards his feet, and he didn't see the run of Enzo Fernandez darting through the middle. Jackson was there too, and for once tonight, Raheem Sterling gets it wrong.
You almost wanted those two players to switch though, don't you? Because you know that Enzo Fernandez knows what he's going to do before he even receives the ball. Raheem Sterling would be great to come on to that ball, so unfortunately it was that way around for Chelsea.
It was Sterling's super solo goal that's given Chelsea the lead. The Luton fans defiant away to our left. They're all on their feet, in fact, in the two tiers that they occupy at the shed end, and lots of orange shirts behind the goal. And Luton's first ever home match in the Premier League will be another Friday night football. In fact, next Friday on Talksport. Luton against West Ham. Can't wait for that at Kenilworth Road, which will be hosting top flight football, because of course there was football before the Premier League for the first time since the early 90s.
Yes, there was, Joe. Yes, there was. I played at Kenilworth Road on the plastic pitch.
Now, I wasn't quite around at that time, I'm afraid, to see that. I think Hugh was, though, wasn't he?
Hugh was definitely around. Although David Pleat doesn't like plastic pitch, it's artificial pitch.
Artificial surface.
Artificial surface.
As Lockyer slides in on Jackson, and a throw to Chelsea in front of the Luton dugout on the near side of the field. Jackson will take it back to Enzo Fernandez, who missed the penalty against West Ham last Sunday at the time of the game where Chelsea were dominating and the score was 1-1. Disasi has the ball for Chelsea now, the Frenchman, the former Monaco player, another big money signing in the summer. And now Colwill just inside Luton territory. Square ball to Thiago Silva. Chelsea look in control of the game. They lead 1-0. Mauricio Pochettino has his arms folded on the near side touchline. Disasi back towards Thiago Silva again. And Thiago Silva not at pains to force the issue at all. Chelsea content to keep calm possession. Enzo Fernandez suddenly darts forward and looks to pick up the pace. Back it goes to Thiago Silva once more. And Chelsea with no great movement among the front three at the moment. It's hit forward towards Enzo Fernandez down the middle. Midway inside the Luton half is Gallagher. Gets the 1-2 back from Jackson. Chong got across and did enough. Chong has impressed so far. And here is Chilwell infield to Caicedo. Caicedo flicks the ball over the top towards Chilwell again. Good header away by Burke at the middle of the Luton back five. Cleared out of play by Chong. Chelsea throw. And if Chelsea were to get a second goal here, Scott Minto, the task for Luton really would be a very stern one.
Yeah, I don't want to look at the odds for Luton winning the game if they go 2-0 down, to be honest with you. But, you know, at the moment, they're hanging on in there. As I say, we knew this was going to happen.
Great interplay between Sterling to set up Malo Gusto down the right-hand side. Well tackled back by Ryan Giles. Free kick to Luton because Gusto, having lost the ball, tugged at the shirt of Giles. And actually, the Luton fans behind the goal are saying, well, the two bookings that we've had in the game, that should be a booking for Malo Gusto as well.
Can't disagree with that, sorry. Malo Gusto went down the wing, looked like he was maybe going to get in front of Giles. Giles showed an excellent bit of pace and then defended well, and then he's pulled him down. I don't see how that's not a yellow card, to be honest with you.
Referee Rob Jones thought otherwise, as Kaminski hammers the ball up high into the dark night sky and deep into the Chelsea half, and Morris with the initial flick, and Adebayo will pick it up. Down by the corner flag, back for Nakamba midway inside the Chelsea half. Out on the left is Giles. Giles looking always to get into a crossing position, almost like an old-fashioned winger. Ryan Giles is very much an advanced attacking left wing back. Reece Burke for Luton, who missed a lot of pre-season due to injury, but is back in the starting lineup tonight. They are looking at Axel Tuanzebe, the former Manchester United defender at Luton Town. Rob Edwards confirmed that in his pre-match press conference. That's a sloppy ball, though, from Bell towards Giles, who miscontrolled, couldn't keep it in play, and Chelsea have a throw in the right back position. What will Rob Edwards be looking at in terms of improvements that Luton can make here? Because they're only 1-0 down. Yeah,
they're very much in the game. I mean, first of all, I need to say sort of set pieces. Set pieces need to be a little bit better. Defensively, I think they're defending as well as they possibly can. You know, they've really been stretched, and to keep it down to 1 with Chelsea being so on top is very good. But get the ball up with a little bit more quality up to the front too, and see if they can do anything with it.
Conor Gallagher's carried the ball out to the Chelsea left, but Chilwell's touch is a very heavy one, firm, and cleared away by Burke and hoisted upfield by Kabore for Luton into the Chelsea half. It's headed away by Levi Colwill. Lovely tenacity from Enzo Fernandez to win it back, and then he drives over the halfway line. He's taken the ball with him probably 50 yards. Little flick by Jackson, a careless flick. Pochettino not happy on the touchline, and then Enzo Fernandez catches Chong on the slide. Again, the Luton fans are furious behind the goal. 3,000 screaming for a yellow card towards the referee Rob Jones, who no doubt can hear them, but the decision merely just a free kick. Now, we talk about consistency in the Premier League, lack of consistency in refereeing that we've already seen so far this season, Scott Minto. Why wasn't that a yellow card?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. That could be possibly be argued as a foul, but not every foul is a yellow card. What I liked about the fact that Nicholas Jackson gave the ball away and then straight away he tried to win it back. He's got that really good attitude. The one other thing I would say from Luton's point of view, if they can get the ball wide. We talked about how Giles has got a great left foot. He's already put a couple of balls in. If Kabore down the right-hand side can get a bit more involved as well for the front two, that's what they're looking for.
Great crossfield ball by the Camber, and Kabore will keep it in down by the corner flag. He's got Colwill to take on here though, and he's pushed it past Colwill. He's into the penalty area. The angle's very tight. Kabore tried to whip it across. He stumbled as he did so. Colwill did just enough, but now it's come back to Burke for Luton, and his cross is deflected behind for a Luton corner.
This is what they need to do. Got the ball out wide. Kabore takes one-on-one with Colwill. Did really well to get past him. I'm thinking, for Colwill's point of view, do not foul him once he's in the box. But again, the ball comes back out and they still attack again. Now they've got another set piece. Put it in with quality and see what happens.
Chelsea 1, Luton 0. We've had 41 minutes live on Talksport, and Ryan Giles is going to take this second corner of the match for the visiting team. It'll be a left-footed in-swinging delivery. Chelsea brought everybody back in blue to defend it. Nobody on either post. Giles with the delivery into the near post, and it's flicked over the top by Barkley, who made a darting run. In fact, the last touch, yes, it was off Barkley. He went up for the header with Chilwell, but against his former side, he couldn't keep it on target.
Yeah, very difficult to try and get that on target when you're kind of in front of the near post. You're looking for the very slightest of flick-ons. You're almost better off just top of your head, flick it and see if anyone can get into the far post. But again, I think that's the best way of doing it. Listen, it's 1-0. It's been all Chelsea, but let's not forget where Luton have come from and the fact they're in the Premier League playing at Stamford Bridge. Yes, of course, they don't just want to sit back and say, oh, we lost the game, but they're doing well considering. They really are. They're hanging on in there.
10 years ago today, Luton, they were mid-table in what is now the National League. Here is Chong on the halfway line for them. Into the 43rd minute. Raheem Sterling's fine goal separates the two, and Chong with a very heavy back pass, but it swirled miles away from goal, and Kaminsky, the goalkeeper, just has to leave his penalty area to retrieve it. Whatever happens tonight, 03717 223344, the number for the Sports Bar Weekender, which will take your calls once we're done here live on Talksport. Adam Catchell and the former Chelsea striker Carlton Cole will be your team. And here on the right-hand side for Luton is Kabore. Kabore plays it forward towards Morris. Morris back to the halfway line. And Bell with a touch to find Giles out on the Luton left, the far side. Chelsea not exactly pressing high. They don't necessarily need to here. Luton probably having their best spell of the game in terms of possession, Scott Minto, but they can't create anything with it.
No, they don't need to at the moment, though. That's when they should just get a bit more into the game, which is exactly what they're doing. But just take the sting out of what Chelsea have done, and that's really what's happened since the goal. So again, subconsciously, maybe Chelsea have dropped just a little bit, but Luton are just trying to keep the ball themselves, taking the sting out of the situation.
So Danny Kelly with Carlton Cole tonight on the Sports Bar Weekender on Talksport when you want to get your calls in later on. And you can look ahead to the weekend's football as well. We'll have Bournemouth Spurs followed by Manchester United against Nottingham Forest tomorrow, back-to-back on Talksport. Quite a lackadaisical end to the first half here, or at least the end to normal time. Long ball downfield by Lockyer with Luton a goal down at Chelsea. Kabore can't control by the dead ball line. It was an intelligent diagonal pass from Lockyer, just ever so slightly overhit. Yeah,
it was unlucky. As I say, when Chelsea don't have the ball, they're almost like a back four. And Luton are pushing 4 players up. So therefore, you want to try and knock it long and see what can happen. It was unlucky there. It was the right idea, just overplayed a little bit. But fair play to Luton, just in the last 5, 6, 7 minutes. Not as if they've created loads of chances, but they've come back into it.
Lots of Chelsea fans getting up in front of us and heading to the concourses ahead of half-time. 2 added minutes at the end of the first half we're hearing. We'll get full confirmation in about 40 seconds or so. And Chelsea lead Luton by a goal to nil. The ball is with Disasi, 10 yards shy of the halfway line. And no great tempo at all to the game at the moment. It almost feels like both teams are content to get to half-time with the score as it is. Gallagher's got it on the halfway
Chelsea
line.
need to be careful with that, though.
Yeah.
You know, they want that second goal. As I say, 2-0, I think psychologically does a lot of damage for Luton, but all the while it's only the one. Any mistake, any set piece, any shot from nowhere, you know, and suddenly Luton are back in it.
Chelsea at the moment enduring their worst run at home in the Premier League. If you go back, of course, across last season since the mid-90s, and 4 different managers have presided over that run of 8 Premier League matches at home without a win, at least coming into tonight anyway. 2 added minutes at the end of the first half. Scott Minto's crystal ball was you were correct.
Do you know what? I'm so good like that, especially when producer Sal tells me.
Oh, you shouldn't have given the game away. Header away by Colwill for Chelsea. Now the ball on the halfway line with Chilwell. Joggers it forward and looks for Enzo Fernandez down the near side of the field. Can he evade Lockyer? Lockyer gets back, and Lockyer, robust, will steer it out of play for a Chelsea throw midway inside the Luton half on the near side of the field. Chelsea 1, Luton 0. And I think Rob Edwards, even though Luton haven't created much, and actually Chelsea, particularly early in the game, looked very impressive, the message surely from Rob Edwards is going to be to his Luton players, we're still in this.
Well, we talked about how earlier it was 85% possession for Chelsea. It's now 69%. So I think it shows that Luton have come a bit more into the game, not necessarily creating loads of chances, but they're just taking this thing out of the situation. You know, one thing I'd say about Chelsea as well, you know, we thought Conor Gallagher would be playing as one of the number 10s anyway. Is that it's actually Enzo Fernandez who's pushing on a lot more, and Conor Gallagher's dropping back in.
Yep.
They're very fluid, those two, but quite often it's Enzo Fernandez pushing on and Conor Gallagher just sitting back alongside Caicedo.
The ball has been sliced out of play by Lockyer for a needlessly conceded corner right at the very end of stoppage time in the first half here. We've got 30 seconds of injury time to go. Enzo Fernandez has placed the ball down by the corner flag. The ironic cheers from the Luton fans because we had 2 balls on the pitch a moment ago. Chelsea corner taken short by Enzo Fernandez. Gets it back from Raheem Sterling, the goal scorer. Chilwell's first time high left-footed cross deep to the far post, headed away by Burke through a crowd. Comes out to Gallagher. Gallagher edge of the penalty area. Out to the right-hand side. It's come towards the crossing position and Disasi. And Disasi's delivery is blocked by Bell. That might just do it for the first half, and indeed it does. The half-time whistle is blown, and Raheem Sterling, at times this Premier League season, has looked a man reinvigorated and a man reborn under Maurizio Pochettino. His fine early goal separates the two teams. 17 minutes gone when Sterling danced, waltzed, glided his way through beyond the Luton back line, and from an angle just rolled it into the corner beyond the goalkeeper Thomas Kaminski. The newly promoted side, playing Premier League football, of course, for the very first time this season, have competed relatively well, though they haven't created a great deal as yet. And Chelsea, as it stands, 45 minutes away from their first win of the Maurizio Pochettino era. Live on the Friday Night Football on Talksport at the break, it's Chelsea 1, Luton Town 0.
Another dominant display from Chelsea. I think they're getting even better, to be perfectly honest. Very slick from them, incisive, speed and quality in their performance so far. Only 1 goal to show for it, but if they can build on that in the next 45 minutes, they will certainly be going home with all 3 points. Scott Minto, very positive 45 minutes for Maurizio Pochettino.
Absolutely, and I don't think it's been different from the first halves we've seen so far in the games to start the season. Maybe more so the second half than the first against Liverpool, but we talked about the performances have been very good. Pochettino's talked about the process. They're all starting to play really well. It looks like both individually and in little partnerships they know exactly what they're meant to do. That's good coaching, and I think Luton have done really well to keep it to 1. You know, the first 20 or so minutes, 25 minutes, it was all Chelsea, and it could easily have been 2 or even 3 with the amount of quality and intensity they play with. Luton hung on in there, and in the last 10 minutes they've come back into it, the away side, and to be fair to them, they might now have a little bit more belief going into the second half. It's only 1-0.
The goal, though, was oh so simple for Raheem Sterling. He's had a great start to the season. He's looking more and more comfortable out there on the right. But he was basically ushered through to goal like the opening of a Hollywood movie on Leicester Square. He got the red carpet treatment, Scott.
I wouldn't know about that, Hugh. Obviously, you're invited to really good nights out. I'm not anymore, I'm afraid. But what I would say is, you're slightly harsh there because Raheem Sterling has seen a little gap, and you're right. You know, you almost have to accentuate it when you got Raheem Sterling out there. Do you know what? Almost, I think Gary Neville once said it. Drop the ego as a fullback, and being a fullback myself, it's very difficult to do that. Do not let him come inside, even if he gets the cross in. that's fine. The other defenders have got a chance to deal with that, but they didn't. They allowed that gap to come inside, and once he's inside in the box running at pace, my goodness, it's a nightmare to try and stick your leg out or try and guess what he's going to do. He went past another player, and it was a wonderful left-foot finish. It really was.
As you were saying there, Luton Town have grown into the game somewhat, obviously still very much underdogs. What have you made of their performance, and how can they improve it?
I think they've done really well, honestly. They're on the back foot against a team that I genuinely believe have a really good chance for top 5. And I say that obviously because, you know, that 5th place could be a Champions League place come the end of the season. I think Chelsea are a very good side under Pochettino, are almost hitting the ground running, but just not quite getting the results. So in terms of Luton, first 20 minutes, hang on in there, defend really well. That's exactly what they did. You know, maybe the set pieces could be a little bit better. Maybe when they get the ball wide, the crosses coming in could be a little bit better. But you're constantly under pressure. And actually, as I say, I've been impressed with them in the last 10 minutes. One, they've stayed at 1-0, but then they've also come back into the game where the possession for Chelsea has dropped because they've been having it more. If they can get the 2 front men involved a little bit more, that'd be good. Direct play. If they can get the ball wide and then whip the balls in, which would be nightmare for the Chelsea defenders. We know that they're tall, both Morris and Adebayo as well. So that's what they need to do more of. But at the moment, Rob Edwards won't be unhappy with this.
Well, it's been a comfortable first half for Chelsea. Only the 1-goal lead thanks to Raheem Sterling. Let's get the half-time odds on Talksport with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
So it's currently Chelsea 1, Luton Town 0. For the latest odds, head to Ladbrokes, where you can currently get Chelsea to win at 1-11 on. The draw is 8-1. Luton Town to win now a full 45-1. In terms of next goal scorer, Nicholas Jackson, impressive first half, now 16-5. For Sterling to get his brace, 7-2, or for Luton Town's Ross Barkley to score 16-1. And a penalty score that was 10-3, it is now 7-2. That's your special bet from Ladbrokes. The latest from them, it's 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Live on Talksport 2 tonight, by the way, in the Championship exclusively. Hull City 1, Bristol City 0, thanks to Ozan Tufan's 4th goal of the season. They're already on the hour mark in that game. A win for Hull would take them up to 2nd in the Championship table. Let's see how New Zealand and South Africa are shaping up ahead of the Rugby World Cup. Russ Hargreaves watching their game.
South Africa 26, 14-man New Zealand 0. Who would have seen that coming? 2 more tries for the Springboks inside the opening 6 minutes of the second half. Malcolm Marks, the veteran hooker, around the blind side early in that second half after great work from Sia Kolisi, who'd scored the opening try, the South African captain, in addition to Kurtley Arendse. And moments ago, Kanan Moody, the centre, a wonderful individual try, picked up the loose ball, meandered his way through the All Blacks defence, the conversion to follow. Remember, New Zealand a man down with Scott Barrett's 2 yellow cards. They are near disarray. South Africa lead 26-0, about to be 28-0.
Russ, thanks very much. Okay, elsewhere tonight in live sport, there is Super League, and Salford lead Wakefield 8-0 on the 49th minute. Half-time in the 2 other matches tonight. St Helens leading 30-0 at Castleford, and Hull KR leading 30-0 at home to Lee. And there is some breaking news to bring you tonight on Talksport as well. It involves the big scandal after the Women's World Cup final. Spain's players have now refused to play for the national team, while their Football Federation president Luis Rubiales remains in post. Rubiales has refused to resign after he kissed their forward Jenny Hermoso. She stressed that she did not consent to that following the World Cup win over England in Sydney. He claimed it was spontaneous, mutual, euphoric and consensual. The Spanish government will push for the suspension of Rubiales, but now 81 players, including all of the members of the Victoria squad, have taken matters into their own hands by effectively going on strike, while the current leaders remain in position. Tonight, Jenny Hermoso has actually made a statement in which she says, after achieving one of the most important objectives years of my sports career, and after a few days of reflection, I sincerely thank my teammates, fans, followers, media, everyone that's made my dream come true. Your work and unconditional support were a fundamental part of winning the World Cup. Sadly, the ability to celebrate that has been cut short. While it's true I do not want to interfere with the multiple ongoing legal processes, I feel obliged to report that Mr. Luis Rubiales' words explaining the unfortunate incident are categorically false and part of a manipulative culture that he himself has generated. I want to make it clear, at no time did the conversation to which Mr. Rubiales refers to in his address take place, and above all, his kiss was never consensual. I want to reiterate, as I did before, that I did not like this incident. I felt vulnerable and a victim of an impulse-driven, sexist, out-of-place act without any consent on my part. Simply put, I was not respected. Plenty more in that statement. She says her friends and family and teammates have been pressured to justify his actions, that the world champions do not deserve to have that manipulative, hostile and controlling culture. And she concluded by saying, while it is I who is expressing these words, it is all the players from Spain and around the world who have given me the strength to come out with this statement. So big news concerning Spanish football this evening. We will be back to events in the Premier League very, very shortly. Chelsea have been right on it tonight. Sharp, quick, aggressive, very good value for their lead and looking a cut above. There's a long way to go, but at the break here on Talksport in the Premier League, it is Chelsea 1, Luton 0.
Game day countdown live on Talksport with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Chelsea versus Luton live tonight for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
In sport, what's just as important as the goals, the glory, the roar of the crowd? Yes, it's the half-time break. Time for a breather, a reset, to keep everything on track. In sports betting, Betfair's safer gambling tools help you do that too. Like timeouts, so you take that all-important half-time break. Or deposit limits, to help you keep count. Manage your play at safergambling.betfair.com. Simple ways to stay on top of your game with Betfair.
18 plus begambleaware.org.
All that fancy footwork, argy-bargy, goals, goals, goals at the football makes you hungry. Kick off the day with breakfast meals and deals from McDonald's, Joe and the Juice, Greg's, Pret, Cafe Nero, Leon, Iceland, Co-op and more on Just Eat. What a belter, worldie, screamer of a save. Breakfast meals and deals. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Only available from participating stores and selected locations. Products subject to availability, delivery and other charges may apply. See justeat.co.uk for more details.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less disruption and more action. Less time on the road and more time on the job. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
Football's back, and so is the ultimate coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals! With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals! And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals! Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday in the Sun.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
On DAB, online, and on your smart speaker. Talk Sport.
So can Luton produce what would be a remarkable shock, or will Chelsea pick up their first win under Maurizio Pochettino? Free kick whipped in by Chilwell, up go the heads, Thiago Silva back across goal, Sterling on the volley, good save Kaminsky. Sterling a live wire, dynamic quick feet from Sterling, he dribbles past Giles, he's still going Sterling, it's a brilliant goal for Chelsea, he just rolled it into the bottom corner, outrageous from Raheem Sterling, back to his best, and Chelsea have the lead at Stamford Bridge.
Real party atmosphere at Stamford Bridge tonight because the fans here have seen their side play some real high-quality football, incisive attacking play. It's been a joy to watch at times, but Luton Town have just been fighting back into the game towards the end of that first half, settling in just a little bit more nicely. But I still think you have to believe Chelsea will go on, double, triple their lead if you like, and have a comfortable victory here tonight, barring something pretty miraculous despite the scoreline that we've seen so far. Raheem Sterling's goal, the only difference. At the moment, we're just seeing the players off the bench just warming up in front of us. Both of the two starting lineups still in the changing room. We've had Kerry Dixon, Chelsea legend, giving a wave to the fans and having a little bit of an interview pitch side. But again, as I say, inside of Stamford Bridge right now, any negativity that they may have felt over the last, 5-6 months seems to have all dissipated, and they're feeling confident that Mauricio Pochettino could be building a pretty tasty side here, and I tend to agree with them based on what we've seen so far. Second half on the way. Got to tell you, we've got more live sport for you over the weekend. Tomorrow night on Talksport, we'll have live and exclusive heavyweight commentary. Alexander Usyk defending his 3 world titles against Daniel Dubois in Poland. We will have Adam Cattrall, Gareth A. Davis, Andy Clark as your commentator, and the former super bantamweight champion Spencer Oliver on commentary. Usyk versus Dubois, live and free to listen to this Saturday, only on Talksport. In our game in the Championship over on Talksport 2, there has been a goal. Hull taking on Bristol City.
They're 1-0 up in this one. The Knights on the front foot for Bristol City. Out towards the danger man. Sykes, what a ball in! No offside flag this time against Nahki Wells, and it is 1-1. And it is Sykes, the danger man, who puts it on a plate for the Bermudan.
So 1-1 at the moment. They are now in the 69th minute. If you'd like to hear the conclusion to that one after Nahki Wells had equalised for Bristol City to make it 1-1 against Hull, you can listen on the Talksport app. Just hit live games. You can move between events here at Stamford Bridge and the MKM Stadium. Ahead of us, as Luton's Town players come out to begin a little bit of a sprint session, get the blood flowing before the second 45 minutes. Alongside me, the former Chelsea defender Scott Minto. What are your thoughts ahead of this second half? Do you see Chelsea going from strength to strength?
I think they need to. I think they need to play with the intensity they started with in the first half, and slightly disappointed with how they kind of took the foot off the gas, really. I mean, you're right, over a whole 45 minutes, they absolutely dominated the first half. But really, if you break it down, up until the goal, absolutely superb. A little bit after the goal, dropped it a little bit. In the last 10 minutes, Luton came back into it. This is 1-0. We talked about how Chelsea need to get. It needs to be a win. At 1, you never know what can happen. 2-0, they're not going to come back into it, Luton. But Luton are very much in this game at the moment.
Luton just need to be, for me, a little bit more decisive. Are they slightly overawed by the quality of play that they're up against right now?
I think they probably were in the first 20 minutes, but also it really was quality of play from Chelsea. But they've grown into the game now, Luton, and I'm sure Rob Edwards would have said, look at that last 10 minutes and how you actually had a fair bit of possession. Just do more of the same in the second half. Make sure the set pieces are put in with real quality. Get the ball wide and get the crosses in for our 2 big strikers.
Our referee, Rob Jones, has actually had to tell the ground staff to get off the pitch so we can start the second half live on Talksport with the former Chelsea defender Scott Minto and Joe Shennon.
And we are a couple of seconds into the second half. Luton have kicked us off playing from right to left towards the shed end where the away fans are. Luton in the white shirts, white shorts, and actually those Luton shirts have an orange stripe down the middle with black socks, and Chelsea all in royal blue with white socks, playing from left to right towards the 2-tiered Matthew Harding end of the stadium. Lots of Chelsea fans still to return to their seats ahead of the second half, but no half-time substitutions. So Chelsea, Sanchez in goal, Disasi, Thiago Silva on the ball now, and Colwill the centre-halves, with Gusto and Chilwell the wing-backs, Caicedo and Gallagher sitting deeper in midfield, with Enzo Fernandez pushing on alongside Raheem Sterling, the goal scorer. Fine solo goal after 17 minutes to give Chelsea the lead, and Nicholas Jackson through the middle. No changes for Luton either. Kaminski is their goalkeeper, with Lockyer, Bell and Burke the centre-halves, Kabore and Giles the wing-backs, Chong, Nakamba and Barkley the 3 in the middle, Morris and Adebayo up front. I'll give you the 2 sets of subs in just a moment. Chelsea on the attack, early stages with Sterling. Chelsea 1, Luton 0, and Sterling back to Axel Disasi with the long sleeve shirt on the halfway line. A miscued crossfield ball, first time right-footed by Disasi, a clumsy pass, and Luton have a throw on the far side. On the halfway line, those Chelsea subs, the two goalkeepers, Lucas Bergstrom and Eddie Beach, Kukurea, Madueke, Ugochukwu, Madsen, Mason Burstow, who we saw off the bench against West Ham, Diego Moreira and Bashir Humphreys. A very youthful Chelsea subs bench. A lot of injuries, of course, for Chelsea to senior players, as Luton win a free kick on the halfway line. 1-0 down. They have their new goalkeeper Tim Krul among the subs, Anderson, Ogbene, Berry, Woodrow, Mpanzu, who's been at the club since their days in the Conference, the National League as it is known now, Jacob Brown, Joseph Johnson and Alfie Doughty. Here come Luton on the attack, looking long towards Barkley inside the penalty area. Axel Disasi will shepherd the ball behind, out of play for a goal kick to Chelsea in front of the Luton fans. And here's the former Chelsea defender, Scott Minto, alongside them.
Yeah, we're only a couple of minutes into the second half, and I think it's really sort of how the first half finished, which is not great for Chelsea, because, as I say, the first half, first 20 minutes, they were absolutely superb, play with such high intensity, and Luton couldn't live with them. Just need to get the ball down, play 1-2 touch passing, nothing more than that. Luton growing in confidence.
Adebayo has controlled the ball expertly and bullied his way beyond two blue shirts, and Luton win a throw, level with the edge of the 18-yard box, attacking the end, the shed end where their supporters are housed in the second half. Luton's first Premier League home game next Friday night against West Ham. It's live and exclusive on Talksport. We've got 110 exclusive Premier League commentaries across the course of the season. Here is Reece Burke driving down the middle for Luton. He almost runs into trouble but turns away from Caicedo and Chilwell. And then Morris goes for goal from range. A heck of a long way out. It was swerving, but it was a good 6 feet or so over the bar.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was the right option, to be honest with you. He should have just played it out right and then got into the box. Reece Burke did really well, actually, I have to say. It looked like there was 3 Chelsea players around him, but he kind of twisted on the ball and managed to get the ball to Morris. But as I say, looks like Luton got a little bit more confidence, certainly from the first 20 minutes of the first half.
Lots of Chelsea fans returning to their seats in front of us now. We are 3.5 minutes into the second half, and Chelsea lead Luton by 1-0. Hull 1, Bristol City 1 in the Championship live tonight on Talksport 2. Hull, who could go top, but they need a 2-goal victory to do so, and 1-1 against Bristol City. We've got live EFL football for you on Sunday lunchtime. Watford against Blackburn in the Championship again. That is on Talksport 2. Rochdale 2, Bromley 1 in the National League. A latest score tonight, Bromley down to 10 men. Here is Bell for Luton, left of the 3 centre-halves. Back to Lockyer, the skipper. Luton hunting their first top division win since falling out of the top flight in 1992, April 1992, at home to Aston Villa, to be exact. Their last top flight win, and into the Premier League this season for the very first time. Amari Bell plays it backwards to the goalkeeper Kaminski. Chelsea hunting their first victory under Maurizio Pochettino tonight. Kabore on loan from Manchester City has it in the right back position. He's been caught out by Chilwell, who gets it back from Jackson. Chilwell all the way through the middle. Oh, and he tried to play it square, and it deflected behind off Bell for a Chelsea corner. But my oh my, why didn't Ben Chilwell just strike it? It should have been 2-0 to Chelsea.
Oh my goodness, that's a left back for you. It really is. I mean, great play first of all by winning the ball back. He played a 1-2. Great touch from Nicholas Jackson again. And then he's right in front of goal, 12 yards out. He's on his right foot and he's passed it with his left. Just strike it.
That is inexplicable. And it bounced behind off Bell for a Chelsea corner, which Enzo Fernandez takes short. Corner of the penalty area, and Sterling trying to weave away from Tahith Chong. Back out wide to Enzo Fernandez again. Enzo Fernandez delivers right-footed, could come through towards Disasi, smuggled up into the air. Oh, and only half cleared, and here's Jackson in on goal. Good save by the goalkeeper Kaminski. Carried it away to his right-hand side. Jackson beat the offside trap, but he couldn't beat Luton's new goalkeeper. Second Chelsea corner in quick succession. Chelsea 1, Luton 0. Chelsea knocking at the door for the second goal, Scott Minter.
I do hope he gets a goal, Nicholas Jackson. His play deserves it. He's superb yet again. And as a striker, a new signing, what you really want to do is, of course you want to play well, but you want to get on the score sheet. He deserves to be on it.
Matthew Hardegend is on its feet. Chilwell will take the corner. It'll be a left-footed outswinger this time. High to the edge of the 6-yard box. Disasi climbs, heads it down. Easy take for Kaminski. Disasi, who scored on his home debut for Chelsea against Liverpool on the opening weekend, couldn't repeat the feat here. And Luton survive a goal down 6 minutes into the second half.
Now, it was only a couple of weeks ago, but it feels like a long time. I'm pretty sure Ben Chilwell did put the ball in the back of the net with his right foot. But it was disallowed. He should have just struck it with his right foot. Trust it, right in front of goal, 8 yards out.
Here is Morris on the edge of the D for Luton. Chelsea might be made to pay here. Ryan Giles with a poor delivery. First time left-footed by his high standards as he displayed in the Championship last season. All alone, left-hand edge of the 18-yard box, but he couldn't even keep the cross in play.
Joe, look, it was poor execution, but Luton are now finding a way to try and create chances, and that's what they did. And the Luton fans absolutely delighted just to be here, but they're seeing their team grow in confidence. The Giles down the left, a really good ball in, which what his left foot should be able to produce. And I tell you what, they're not a million miles away from getting an equaliser.
Solihull 1, Halifax 1 in the National League. Equaliser for the visiting team. Friday nights on Talksport, we're your home of Friday nights, Monday nights, and of course on Saturdays, game day returns. Back-to-back commentaries from the Premier League tomorrow. Bournemouth against Tottenham at 12:30, followed by Manchester United against Nottingham Forest at 3, and then Fight Night Live tomorrow evening. Alexander Usyk against Daniel Dubois, live from Wrocław in Poland on Talksport. Here is Enzo Fernandez, Chelsea's number 8. Threads the ball to the left and Colwell. Now Chilwell in front of that huge cavernous West Stand. Crossfield pass by Fernandez. It's brought down neatly by the 20-year-old Gusto, the Frenchman. Now Sterling retreating back towards the halfway line, plays a neat 1-2 with Gallagher, and Gallagher gets it back from Caicedo. Good triangular passing from Chelsea. They continue to play on. 1-0 against Luton. Here's Jackson into the penalty area. Angled tidy, went for goal, and it's saved down low to his left by Kaminski. Jackson was never likely to score from there, but he's got that live wire ability, he's got that natural pace, and he's proving difficult at times for Luton defenders to handle. And the way the game is going, Scott Minto, it feels like Chelsea much more likely to get the second goal.
Well, just in the last couple of minutes, Joe, yes, they've created a few more chances and looked more intense. I mean, what a ball with the outside of his boot from Enzo Fernandez. And you're right, really, Jackson shouldn't be shooting from there, but he is showing such pace and power. The defenders just can't get round him.
Chilwell's on the halfway line. He was tripped by a retreating Kabore. Free kick given by referee Rob Jones. Chelsea 1, Luton 0 on Talksport with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Chelsea against Luton live right now for $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports. You are listening to Talksport, and the Sports Bar Weekender follows us tonight on Game Day Countdown Live 03717 223344 to speak to Danny Kelly and the former Chelsea striker Carlton Cole. Rochdale 2, Bromley 2. The 10 men of Bromley have an equaliser, much to Scott Minto's delight, no doubt.
When you said it was 2-1, I'm like, Joe, please, just leave it.
Could be 4 or 5, but no, 2-2.
Go on, Bromley.
Here is Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, all in bright yellow, not had a save to make. Robert Sanchez looking for his first clean sheet in a Chelsea shirt tonight. And clean sheets, something that Chelsea found so hard to come by last season. Dreadful ball out of defence by the normally unflappable Thiago Silva. And it's with the feet of Giles for Luton. And now Barkley back to the halfway line, controlled by Burke. Burke pushes it forward towards Chong. Luton, while they're still a goal down, will still believe. They're still in this match, but Chong has given it away. Blue shirts flooding forward on the counter for Chelsea. Jackson is up the middle. Jackson 30 yards from goal. Sterling to his right. Low ball in by Sterling, and it's hit the post from Enzo Fernandez. Coming into the far post at a tight angle. Never likely to score. Weaker side, and it came off the woodwork and has gone out of play.
Brilliant play again from Nicholas Jackson. Again, just showing his pace and power. Perfectly weighted pass for Raheem Sterling, who put an even better perfectly weighted pass into the far post.
Enzo Fernandez again rifles it over the top from a tight angle once more. This time on his right side, and he really blazed that into the Matthew Harding end.
Yeah, but you know what? He's getting more and more involved in the game going forwards. You know, I talked about how in the first half him and Conor Gallagher are switching over. It's actually Enzo playing more so further forward in this second half, and Conor Gallagher just sitting alongside Caicedo. Pochettino will know that they need the second goal, Chelsea. And in terms of that creativity, I was asked earlier about whether Conor Gallagher could be that number 10. That's not his role. Really, his ideal role is a box-to-box midfielder, but then it's probably one of the holding midfielders, because he's not really a typical number 10. Enzo Fernandez has that awareness, that creativity, and he's getting closer and closer to get on the score sheets.
It won't go in for him, but maybe not for much longer. If Chelsea continue to create as they are doing, a second goal looks inevitable. 11 minutes into the second half, and Chelsea lead Luton by 1-0. And Kaminski, the Luton goalkeeper, who's had a lot of work to do, takes the goal kick, drills the ball high and long. The skies are dark overhead in this pocket of West London where we've got the floodlights on. Caicedo, on his full debut for Chelsea, has possession midway inside his own half of the field. I think potentially Kaminski may have got a touch on that Enzo Fernandez effort a few moments ago. Ball is played back by Disasi to the Chelsea goalkeeper Sanchez, and a first-time ball to find Thiago Silva. All Chelsea at the moment, but they can't convert. That's a familiar story. They do lead 1-0. Floated upfield by Colwell, over the top of the defender Lockyer. Jackson is in behind. Jackson goes down under the challenge of Lockyer. Referee says goal kick. Was there anything in that, Scott Minto?
Well, I'd need to see a replay, and we don't really have replays, do we? But it looked at first glance that actually Lockyer... The question is, did he do a little push from the side, which I think from a defending point of view is okay, or was he behind? And did he put his hand on his back? Difficult one.
The ball is cleared forward by Bell, although the clearance is charged down by Fernandez, and it's bounced up high into the Luton half. It's flicked forward by Sterling, but Jackson can't reach it. A bit of a careless flick by Sterling, and then a foul by Chilwell, and Luton Town have a free kick. Here is Kabore on the halfway line on the Luton right. And now Nakamba standing in the middle of the centre circle, the former Aston Villa man who was outstanding when he joined Luton on loan in January of last season, and that move made permanent in the summer. Ticking towards the hour mark, and it's Chelsea who lead 1-0. That's a foul by Adebayo on Malo Gusto, and the Luton fans are furious. 3,000 up in arms, screaming at the referee, and the Chelsea fans nearby are responding with glee.
I had Hugh next to me as well. He was almost on his feet saying it wasn't a foul. I have to say, I think it was.
He's a passionate man tonight, isn't he?
Very
always
passionate. And look, you know, do you know what? It's again, I don't want to be condescending in any way, but it's brilliant that Luton Town are first of all in the Premier League, fully deserved to be, and actually they're holding their own here. Yes, Chelsea are the better side, but it's only 1-0 at this particular moment. And Adebayo, we talked about the physicality of him and Morris, trying to show that. I think he did foul Gusto there, and it was the correct decision. But they are gaining in confidence, certainly from the early part of the first half.
The ball is cleared forward by Disasi, up the far side right channel. But across comes Lockyer, near side right channel rather. Lockyer there, the Luton captain wearing number 4. And he clashes the ball over the halfway line, and Morris is on the chase with Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva, ever calm, gets there first. But he tried to steer it back to the goalkeeper. Got a little bit lucky there, Thiago Silva. It eventually came off the face of Morris. And has gone out to play for a Chelsea throw. Rob Edwards, the Luton Town boss. It's a very steep drop of 3 tiers of seats down to where the Luton manager standing on the edge of his technical area. To his right, Maurizio Pochettino, the Chelsea boss, his arms folded in a dark blue suit. Chelsea looking to really kickstart the Pochettino era tonight. And they lead 1-0. Forward by Colwell, high up the middle. Chilwell's on the chase here. Goalkeeper at the edge of his penalty area. Kaminski clears. And now Burke, the Luton defender, under pressure from Jackson. Jackson has won it back. Ever tireless, he really could become a fan's favourite with his work rate, if nothing else. Luton, though, managed to clear. That's a foul by Thiago Silva on Morris, lip of the centre circle. Luton have a free kick and they take it quickly, 1-0 down.
Yeah, no, don't foul. With his experience, he knows he doesn't need to foul. There wasn't any really Luton players up with him. Just, and if he has to lay it off, so be it. But you're right, absolutely right about Nicholas Jackson, Joey. You know, even if things aren't quite going for him, he's always chasing, running, trying to, you know, win the ball back.
Both sides have got subs warming up, but Chong is down the right for Luton, and here's Morris in the penalty area, finds Adebayo. Adebayo wide to Giles. He struck it well, and it was gathered by the goalkeeper. Took a deflection off Malo Gusto, who slid in to make what really was a very important block to take that sting out of the shot and allow Sanchez to pounce on it.
Well, absolutely. And again, I don't know how many more times I have to say this. Chelsea just being very lax while it was 1-0. Luton always have a chance. They are growing in confidence. Really good play, the way they made sure they got it out to Giles in the end. And we talked about his great left foot and perhaps haven't quite shown it tonight. Really good strike. It was deflected. And again, from the angle we're at, I'm not quite sure if Robert Sanchez that made a really good save or was actually quite lucky with it. And first time round, and in the end grabbed it second time. But Luton very much in this match.
And they've won it back just inside the Chelsea half. Here is Ross Barkley against his old team. A square ball to Chong. Chelsea lead 1-0, but that advantage is a slender one. The game has picked up at Stamford Bridge. The atmosphere is rising with every moment. Jackson is through the middle for Chelsea. Out to Sterling, edge of the D. Sterling spins and turns, but can't get beyond the camber. Chelsea fans are out of their seats. Not sure if they're upset at Sterling or the referee, but it's Luton on the counter-attack, flooding forward in white. Adebayo's on the edge of the penalty area, takes on Disasi. Disasi gets in front of Adebayo. Disasi will sweep it out to play. A Luton throw deep inside Chelsea territory. The Luton fans are out of their seats, urging their team forward. It's Premier League football, just the way we like it on Talksport.
Oh, they're making so much noise now, the fans, aren't they? And do you know what? They should be proud of their side, especially of the last sort of 15 minutes of the first half and this second half so far. Even Rob Edwards was saying to everyone, get forward, feeling confident that they can get this equaliser. Chelsea should have killed this game off after 20-25 minutes. Once they got the goal, they sat back. They were so dominant, so in front. But since then, Luton have grown in confidence and genuinely feel they can get something out of this game.
And here's Elijah Adebayo again. 6'4", the big striker. Out wide to Giles. He's level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Giles goes all the way backwards to Bell. We've got Bournemouth against Tottenham tomorrow lunchtime. Manchester United against Nottingham Forest at 3 o'clock on Talksport tomorrow. Macamba back to the halfway line and Burke for Luton Town. Well, even a Luton draw really would be a big upset and a big disappointment for Chelsea. We've had chances in the second half, but as Scott Minter has said, they haven't killed the game off. And you just know that the beauty of the Premier League is that you never give up hope, you never lose belief. Chelsea through the middle though with Enzo Fernandez. He's away from Chong. There are gaps at the back for Luton here. Sterling right hand edge of the penalty area, takes it in his stride, lays it back for Chilwell. Brilliant block. Tremendous intervention from a sliding Reece Burke. The former West Ham player's gone down. Luton have smuggled it away up to the halfway line. It's Chelsea 1, Luton 0. Deflection off Malo Gusto. That'll be a Luton throw just shy of halfway. But Burke denied Chilwell potentially a second Chelsea goal there.
Brilliant defending from Burke, really was. You know, just dived at it. Good play again, getting the ball out wide. This time it was Fernandez to Sterling. Sterling cuts the ball back, and this time Chilwell decided to shoot on his right foot. He was further out as well and had a couple of players in front of him.
You said earlier, the earlier one, it's a full-back thing. Is that true? You'd have gone for goal, wouldn't you, with that earlier chance?
I would have tried.
Well, you were a left footer too, of course.
I was a left back, just like Ben Chilwell. Yeah, I was being slightly tongue-in-cheek there, but yeah, it was definitely I think most strikers, most attacking players would have gone for it there, and that was a big moment as well. That could have been 2-0.
Great ball out wide by Barkley to find Issa Kabore. Corner of the penalty area here for Luton. There's danger for Chelsea. Kabore's cross is a poor one. It was a little dink, and it's knocked up into the dark night sky and away from danger for now by Thiago Silva. Chong can't get beyond Caicedo, who sort of blocked him off. And now Sterling looking to lead the Chelsea counter-attacking charge. Jackson sprints over the halfway line. Chilwell to his left. The pass evades Chilwell, but he'll keep it in anyway. Had to check his run. Back to Enzo Fernandez, midway inside opposition territory. The game is really stretched now. 20 minutes into the second half. Chelsea lead Luton by a goal to 0. The visitors are playing some good football at times, and the belief is certainly there with the supporters. You can feel the belief increasing on the field as well. But a Chelsea second goal could well put the game beyond them. All of the build-up all week to our Premier League weekend. Every weekend of the season you can catch from 6 a.m. in the morning, every weekday morning, Talksport Breakfast. We've got Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend on Mondays and Tuesdays. Jeff Stelling will join the team in December as Chelsea bursting through the left-hand side with Chilwell once more, sandwiched in between two white shirts. Both Lockyer and Burke slid in. Lockyer got to the ball and Luton have it back. Alan Brazil on Talksport Breakfast Wednesday to Fridays, and White and Jordan on from 10 till 1. Make sure you download the White and Jordan Outspoken podcast for all of the best of the week's shows. Carlton Morris with a reverse ball for Luton to the edge of the Chelsea penalty area, cleared away by Malo Gusto, fed further forward by Conor Gallagher, and now it's with Enzo Fernandez in the middle of the Luton half, and he's floated it high through the middle for Jackson to chase, and Lockyer has a problem. Jackson gets there first, on to Raheem Sterling, angle against him, Sterling rolls it across the face of goal, and it bobbles harmlessly wide.
But you know what, Joe? Nicholas Jackson is just playing perfect number 9 football, apart from sticking the ball in the back of the net himself. The way he was able to, I mean, Enzo Fernandez, the way he turned and then he put a ball through to him that wasn't really perfect, but somehow he got in front of Lockyer and then laid the ball off for Raheem Sterling. Chelsea are kind of playing now almost like a 4-2-1-3. Ben Chilwell's playing like a wide left. Raheem Sterling's playing wide right, and then you've got Enzo Fernandez playing just behind Jackson, with Gallagher and Caicedo as the screen and protection. So it's really interesting to see how Poch has kind of changed things here. It's a great game of football. Don't know where this next goal is going to come from.
Really engaging and intriguing second half. Here come Chelsea once more. Enzo Fernandez in yet another pocket of space. Jackson into the penalty area. Right-hand side. Gets away from Lockyer. Shoots left-footed. Takes a deflection off Bell. And it loops up into the air and goes behind for a Chelsea corner. Away to our right at the Matthew Harding end, where there are banners in honours of Chelsea legends. Didier Drogba, John Terry, Frank Lampard. And so many Chelsea names, greats of the past. Who knows whether Nicholas Jackson can make himself a Chelsea great of the future. A long way to go, and a long way to go in the game really here. 23 minutes plus stoppage time left. Enzo Fernandez with a right-footed corner, headed away at the near post by Adebayo. It's come back out to Fernandez, who'll let it run. The World Cup winner out of play for a Chelsea throw. It's about level with the 6-yard line.
Why? Why is it let it run?
That's a good question.
He just needed to take the ball down and put the ball in again.
One touch to control, one touch to cross.
Exactly, and he had loads of space. He had about 15 yards of space to do that. Now Malagusto's got to do a throw where Luton can get themselves set up nicely.
Does it feel like the pace of the game, though, suits Chelsea with the speed that they've got, particularly when Luton are leaving one or two gaps at the back now?
Yeah, but Chelsea are leaving one or two gaps as well, and Luton have had a few chances. That Giles one probably been the best, but even though they haven't created loads of chances, they're getting themselves into the right position where if the final ball is good, they can really hurt Chelsea. It's a really good game of football.
Great turn by Sterling. He's away from Bell. Bell gets a tackle in at the last, just whipped it off the toes of Sterling, but Caicedo set up Gusto. Gusto first time cross. Sterling turns it in for two. Two for Raheem Sterling. Two for Chelsea. That should kill off Luton Town on this Friday night football. Lovely play by Chelsea down the near side, the right. Malu Gusto cutting it back across, and there was Raheem Sterling, a man reborn maybe under Maurizio Pochettino. He gets his second of the night. Chelsea 2, Luton 0. That feels like game over.
The thing about Raheem Sterling is that he'll get himself into so many good positions, and because he's such a good player, it won't always result in a goal, and that can be frustrating for the Chelsea crowd, but he's never scared about getting himself into the position just after giving the ball away or perhaps missing a chance himself. It was a wonderful ball from Malo Gusto, who went down the right-hand side. The ball was played to him, and he just cuts the ball back rather than tries to whip it across. Where Raheem Sterling is really clever, all the defenders drop off, because that's a natural instinct for them. He just stands still, and that creates the space where he's got 2 yards. He probably even could have taken a touch, but he didn't need that. Took it first time. You then concentrate on the technique, hit the target and get it away from the keeper. Kaminsky had no chance. I can't see Luton coming back from this, but it's been a great game of football, whatever happens from here on in.
Here comes a double change for Luton. Kabore leaving the field. Alfie Doughty, a former Charlton and Stoke player, will take to the pitch, and Adebayo going off as well, and he's replaced by Jacob Brown. So Rob Edwards, the Luton manager, has reacted with a double change. It's been a performance full of fight and lots to take from it for his side, but Chelsea are heading for victory for the first time under their new manager, their new head coach rather, Maurizio Pochettino, and he punched the air with delight as Sterling tucked away that second goal, and now Raheem Sterling is on a hat-trick.
It's a big goal, that, for Pochettino, there's no doubt about it.
And now Enzo Fernandez plays it through to Jackson. Jackson in a central position, just to the midway point of the Luton half. Back it goes to Gallagher, steers it left to Enzo Fernandez. He's 30 yards from goal, he's taking on Chong. Chong is there to whip it off his toes. Enzo Fernandez wriggles away from both Chong and Nakamba, then he's pulled down, and that'll be a Chelsea free kick. I would say maybe just about within shooting range. Maybe it's a little too far out.
No, I think someone can have a strike at that. It's almost in front of goal, 30 yards out. I think it's just a bit out the reach of Raheem Sterling to take it himself and go for that hat-trick, but maybe Enzo Fernandez might fancy himself.
Well, he's placed the ball down, and so too has Ben Chilwell, and Chelsea heading for a much-needed Premier League victory and a much-needed home victory as well. Their first home league win it would be since defeating Leeds here all the way back in March. Chilwell standing over it. Enzo Fernandez seems most likely to strike it. It's what? Fully 30 yards from goal, this free kick, maybe slightly more. Left of centre as we look at it.
Perfect for a right footer, though. I mean, yeah, perhaps you'd like it maybe a few yards further in, but the angle can go either way.
There are 4 or 5 to be exact, in the Luton wall. No draft excluder line behind them. Enzo Fernandez with eyes wide with concentration. He will step up and curl this right-footed, and it's just wide. And he's come very close again on more than one occasion tonight to a first Chelsea goal. I'm sure Maurizio Pochettino feels that's not far away. 2-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, look, 2-0 would be satisfactory, I think, for Chelsea, especially, you know, it's been a decent performance. They have been the better side, and they do deserve to win. But what I would say is it hasn't been a really dominant attack in that sense. I mean, last 10 minutes of the first half, I think up until that second goal, Luton would fancy themselves that they can get something out of it. I think they need to just boss games a little bit better. They're doing it in periods, just not quite long enough.
Chelsea's next home game is on Tuesday night, the Carabao Cup against Wednesday night rather, the Carabao Cup second round against Wimbledon here Wednesday night, and we'll bring it live to you on Talksport 2 on Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup. Fulham against Tottenham on Talksport 2 in a London derby.
I'm here for that one Wednesday. Looking forward to the Wimbledon game.
Well, there'll be plenty of changes, I'm sure, as the ball is intercepted by Chong on the halfway line for Luton, and now it's Jacob Brown who's on for a substitute appearance here at Stamford Bridge, charging up the middle. He's brought down, he's tripped, and that's a yellow card out of the pocket of the referee straight away.
Cheers almost as if it was a goal from the Luton fans. They feel that Chelsea players have got away with a few fouls and their players haven't.
And I think that was a deserved booking. The referee just marching the Chelsea wall back the full 10 yards. This again is about 30 yards out. A slither right of centre. This time Ross Barkley standing over it. 17 minutes to go on Talksport. Chelsea 2, Luton 0 it remains. Luton's next game at home to West Ham is live on Talksport next Friday night, live and exclusive from Kenilworth Road. Their first home game in the Premier League. Ross Barkley from range curls the free kick miles over the bar against his old team.
It's just so difficult. We've seen it one end with Enzo Fernandez and the other end of Ross Barkley. You know, both really good technical players, but to put the ball in the back of the net, to beat these type of goalkeepers from 30 yards, to get it up and down with pace and whip, such a difficult thing to do.
Full time at the MKM in the Championship. It has finished Hull City 1, Bristol City 1 in a game that you heard live on Talksport 2. Raheem Sterling up down the Chelsea right, trying to get away from Amari Bell. Inside right channel, Bell will chip the ball clear. High up towards the halfway line now. Chelsea have it with Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva very calm to steer it square into the feet of Colwill. It was Enzo Fernandez, by the way, who was booked for that challenge on Jacob Brown just a couple of moments ago. Chelsea lead Luton by 2-0, just over 15 minutes remain. A massive weekend of football and of live sports on the Talksport network as ever. We wouldn't expect anything else. And Maurizio Pochettino, I think, will be satisfied with what he's seen. Rob Edwards, the Luton boss, will take some positives so far. But Chelsea are looking for more goals. Sterling's the cross, sucked in by Jackson! Nicholas Jackson off the mark in a Chelsea shirt at the Matthew Harding end. It's his first goal for the club. It could be the first of many. It's the crowning glory on a good night for Chelsea, heading for their first win under Maurizio Pochettino, and their new front man has his first goal. Chelsea 3, Luton 0.
It's just such a brilliant goal. I mean, first of all, Thiago Silva showed great composure defensively. They played the ball eventually to Enzo Fernandez, who again showed just unbelievable ability, the way he turned with a bits of skill, played the ball out wide. Raheem Sterling, it bounces and he just thinks, I'm going to hammer it first time across goal. Slight deflection, which actually, you know, means that it goes to Nicholas Jackson, but he's still got to be in the right place at the right time. And we talked earlier about how Enzo Fernandez had come close, that Raheem Sterling's on his hat-trick. That's the goal scorer that I wanted to see next from a Chelsea point of view. He's been nothing short of superb, not just tonight, but in the 2 games before that as well. And he deserves a goal in this. And now we're looking at a scoreline where people can turn around and say, we cannot have a go at Chelsea. There can be slight moments at 1-0, and you can say, look, you know, Luton were in the game, and if they'd have scored when on their couple of chances, then it would have been interesting. But this has been, on the whole, a very good, decent performance from Chelsea, and a 3-0 scoreline that could end up going to 4 as well. You never know. Pochettino would be delighted with this.
Luton making a number of changes here. Mads Andersen has replaced Reece Burke at the heart of defence. Pelly Rodikampanzu on in place of Tahith Chong. And with Luton 3-0 down, there's going to be a run-out 2 for Chidozie Ogbene, an Irishman signed from Rotherham over the summer. And he has replaced Carlton Morris. So 3 changes for Luton. In fact, it's Barkley rather than Morris who's the third player to come off, replaced by Ogbene. But the game is beyond the visiting team now, well and truly. 2 assists for 2 goals for Raheem Sterling and an assist. The first Chelsea goal for Nicholas Jackson. Sterling and Jackson, they're rapidly becoming Chelsea's new deadly duo. It's a very exciting prospect for Pochettino.
Well, it is as well, and once Nkunku's back as well, what a front 3 that could be.
Yes, a lot of injury problems that Chelsea have got, as Ogbene looks to get in behind Gusto with his first touch inside left-hand channel. Chelsea lead Luton 3-0. That's a terrible late challenge on Disasi, and a yellow card straight out of the pocket of the referee for Jacob Brown, who is a recently arrived substitute into the game, and he's booked, and Disasi might need to receive some treatment here so we can get full time in the rugby between South Africa and New Zealand. Talksport's Russell Hargreaves.
South Africa 35, New Zealand 7. The All Blacks could have gone back top of the world rankings with a big win tonight. Instead, they have suffered the biggest defeat in their entire proud history. 3 tries on the ball when we last joined you. Canan Moody's effort was then chalked off for a narrow offside. Springboks down to 14 men at one point. It didn't matter. Their power, particularly off the bench, or Bongi Umwanambi and then Quagga Smith both cross. In the end, New Zealand with a late Cam Roygaard consolation. Consolation indeed. South Africa, defending world champions, building nicely for that World Cup in a couple of weeks. They win at Twickenham 35-7.
Thanks, Russ. And 3 Summer Nations Series commentaries for you tomorrow on Talksport 2. England, Fiji, Scotland, Georgia and Ireland against Samoa. All of those on Talksport 2 tomorrow. Chelsea 3, Luton 0. The game is surely done and dusted with 11.5 minutes to go. And Chelsea have resisted the temptation to make any changes. Here's Pelly Rodikampanzu for Luton in the penalty area, looking to wriggle away from Disasi, but he was sort of pirouetting away as the ball reached him, and he couldn't keep it under control with his back to goal, and it's through to the Chelsea goalkeeper Robert Sanchez, who no doubt is keen for a clean sheet.
Yeah, look, the game's done now in terms of who's going to win it, but from Chelsea's point of view, 1, they want to keep a clean sheet. 2, they want to get the 4th goal. Can Raheem Sterling get a hat-trick? Can Nicholas Jackson make it 2? From Luton's point of view, can they just get 1 goal? You know, they got 1 goal at Brighton. Can they get 1 goal here? And there's a lot of positives for them. 2 difficult games. It really has been. You know, you've got Brighton and Chelsea as well. Very, very difficult. But I think they can take some positives despite the scorelines not being good ones.
And both of those away from home as well, as you say, Scott. First Premier League home game is up against West Ham next Friday night live on Talksport. That'll be some atmosphere at Kenilworth Road. They do have a home game in the Carabao Cup too against Gillingham, which is the base for our Around the Grounds League Cup show next Tuesday on Talksport. We'll have commentary next Tuesday of Fulham against Tottenham. That'll be on Talksport too.
Well, the next few league games they've got: West Ham at home, Fulham away, Wolves at home, Everton away, Spurs at home, Forest away. They've got to look to pick up a couple of wins if they are to try and stay up in there. You know, difficult ones, especially always away from home. But you know, there's some games they can easily lose, but some games they should be trying to win if they are going to stay up there.
Benez won a free kick for Luton deep inside the Chelsea half. Chelsea 3, Luton 0. For the latest odds, head to Ladbrokes right now. Chelsea to score next 31-20. Luton to score next 13-2. No team to score 3-4. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. 10 minutes left. Chelsea comfortable now. Hasn't always been like that through the second half, but you do feel Chelsea certainly deserve to be in front in the game.
Oh, they deserved the win, but at 1-0 it was uncomfortable, and Luton had a couple of opportunities to get the equaliser.
They've got a chance for a consolation goal here. They did score, of course, in the 4-1 defeat at Brighton on the opening weekend. Ryan Giles floats in the delivery. It's towards Morris, coming into the back post, headed away. Dropped to Alfie Doughty, the substitute, wearing number 45 and the lime green boots. He's run all the way to collect the short pass from Giles now on the near side, and he crosses left-footed, headed away, out to Penny Rudder-Kampanzu, over the head of Gallagher, and then a left-footed volley blocked by Caicedo. That would have been some goal from Mpanzu, but it was blocked. Now Morris down the Luton right, skipping away from Chilwell on the edge of the 18-yard line, blocked by Thiago Silva was his left-footed shot. It's come all the way back to Nakamba to steer it across, up towards Tom Lockyer, headed away by Thiago Silva. Luton really pushing for a goal here. Deflected cross by Giles, drops from Morris in the penalty area. That's gone behind for a Luton corner. They're 3-0 down at Chelsea.
I think they deserve a goal. You know, they've shown a lot of resilience after what happened in the first 20 minutes, where it was literally up against the ropes. And they come back into it. The first half, to the last 10-15 minutes, started to pass the ball a little bit more, created chances at 1-0. And I like, you know, they've got team spirit. Of that, there's no doubt. They will never give up.
And Chelsea want to make a change shortly. I think it's Leslie Ugachukwu who is ready to come on. Corner taken by Giles, a really poor delivery, easily intercepted at the near post and steered upfield by Jackson, who's got his first Chelsea goal. Sterling was fouled by Doughty. Chelsea free kick in their right wing-back position. And a second Chelsea appearance for the Frenchman, the 19-year-old Leslie Ugachukwu. And Nicholas Jackson will get a standing ovation as he leaves the field. Scott Minto, you've described him as Didier Drogba-like in terms of his playing style. He's got himself off the mark in a Chelsea shirt. He is going to be so key for them, particularly at the moment, given the lack of options that they have in that number 9 area. But the way he's playing, you wouldn't take him out of the team anyway.
No, absolutely. Again, I must always, when I mention Didier Drogba, say he needs 4 seasons with this type of performance before we can properly compare. But he has those attributes. And for, you know, Raheem Sterling, 2 goals and an assist, I still feel, for me, Nicholas Jackson looks so dangerous. I'd probably give him man of the match.
Well, Sterling has been excellent too. And Chelsea are cruising now, 3-0 up. Ball floated up the inside left channel by Colwill towards Caicedo. He's robbed the possession by Nakamba, who gets back for Luton. But Luton are tiring physically and tired minds as well. They've had a lot of defending to do. Chilwell inside the penalty area, back for Gallagher, and his first time shot is saved low by Kaminski. Not much power on that effort from Gallagher, and maybe that owed to the late slide tackle, that last-ditch challenge from Mpanzu that maybe just put Gallagher off.
No, it did, without a doubt. But again, great play. Was it Enzo who played the ball just in between the defence there, and Luton got to the byline. First time cut back from Ben Chilwell. And yeah, you're waiting for the net to bulge, but it was good play in the end from Mpanzu, just putting Conor Gallagher off.
Some in the crowd have seen enough, and they're heading for the exits, heading out into the West London night. We're into the 84th minute now on Talksport, and in the end, a cruise for Chelsea. Wimbledon here on Wednesday. Scott will be here for commentary on Talksport 2, and then Chelsea with a home game against Nottingham Forest and a trip to Bournemouth to follow that. So, winnable games, you feel, from Maurizio Pochettino. Good flick by Morris for Luton into the penalty area. Goalkeeper caught out, and it's over the top from Brown, racing into the box and looking for what would have been his first Luton Town goal. And Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, was caught in 2 minds and a bit fortunate that Brown saw that go over the top.
Very fortunate. You know, that's a wonderful opportunity. You're not going to get many of those. I talked about how the game being done and dusted, but just give them a bit of a consolation, a lot of confidence, and certainly for Brown himself, scoring in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. It's a great opportunity. You only get those, you know, once or twice in a game, and it was a take it first time, but in the end he couldn't even hit the target. Make the goalkeeper make a save at least.
And we'll see Ian Maatsen take to the field for Chelsea in just a few moments. Arm around the shoulder from Maurizio Pochettino, a young man who impressed greatly on loan last season for Burnley as they stormed to the Championship title, of course, under Vincent Kompany. Chelsea will have a throw in their right wing-back position here. 3-0 up with 5 minutes to go. And it's a straight swap for Ben Chilwell. He's going to give the captain's armband to Thiago Silva, I think, here. And Maatsen will come on for what is just his 3rd Chelsea appearance.
Yeah, that's right. He also did well at Coventry on loan, didn't he?
Yeah.
I actually saw him at Charlton when he was on loan, and I'll be honest with you, I thought he was quite far off being a Chelsea first-team player, but he's really come on, a lot of progression, clearly a lot of ability. And he also really impressed in pre-season, so I'm not surprised to see him get some minutes on the pitch now.
Fits the mould in this very young Chelsea side. Just 21 years old, he did come off the bench for his Premier League debut as a substitute against Liverpool on the opening weekend, and before that his only other Chelsea appearance had been in the League Cup, again as a substitute in 2019. It'll be interesting to see how many of these young players can really make an impact at Stamford Bridge this season, particularly once Chelsea have got some of the more senior players back from injury.
Listen, I'm all for youth, but you still need senior pros if you're really to do well in the league. I'm not going to try and use the phrase, you can't win anything with kids, but, you know, you do need your senior pros in the dressing room, and Chelsea don't have many, so there's an opportunity for him.
Well, Raheem Sterling is one of those leaders.
Absolutely.
Those leadership figures in the Chelsea side, and he's certainly responded this season so far, Sterling. 2 goals tonight and an assist for Nicholas Jackson. Chelsea 3, Luton 0.
You could argue that Maatsen had a better pre-season than Raheem Sterling as well, and almost it was Sterling's reputation that sort of kept him in the first team. But when you know you can rely on someone like him, and I'm sure Pochettino would have been having conversations with him off the field as well as watching him on the field, you know what he's capable of. He's been brilliant this season so far, as early as it is.
Sterling on a hat-trick, the ball hit the referee, and play resumes very quickly. Chelsea on the ball, and it's Ugo Chukwu back to Caicedo, and now Enzo Fernandez dinks it over the top from a central position, and it's got too much on it, bounces through into the gloves of Kaminski. What about Rob Edwards and Luton Town? It will be another defeat, and a relatively heavy defeat again, but they were in this game for long periods, and I suppose that's what he can take from it.
Yeah, and you know, again, looking at the positive, you could say the same of Brighton. Up until about 70 minutes, the scoreline suggests that they were in the game, although really they could have conceded 6, 7 or even 8. But this one, I think you can take even more positives out. I think they, you know, 1-0 down, first 20 minutes, really on the ropes, came back into it, created a couple of chances.
Brown has got the ball now with his back to goal. That's a layoff that finds Nakamba midway into the Chelsea half, touches it on to Doughty. Doughty looking to maraud away from Maatsen, and he reaches the corner of the penalty area, tries a cross which takes a big deflection off the heel of Caicedo. Has Sanchez prevented the corner? He hasn't, and Luton still have a chance at a consolation.
Now, one thing they'll find in the Premier League as well, if they haven't already, with 2 very good teams they've come up against, is that you can feel like you're doing really well, and then suddenly there's just moments of brilliance from a fantastic player or a combination of 2 or 3, and suddenly it's like, well, where did that come from? We suddenly lost the game 3-0. That didn't feel like a 3-0.
No clean sheet in 11 in the Premier League before tonight for Chelsea. Not far off one here, 90 seconds of normal time to go. Giles in swinging corner. Sanchez flapped at it. It was headed away before the goalkeeper could get there. Nodded back in by Alfie Doughty. It's come out to the edge of the box this time, and a volley by Brown, which is blocked by Chelsea's Caicedo. He's looked steady, the £115 million man. Britain's most expensive footballer, the most expensive player, or transaction, if you like, in the history of British football. Here goes Gusto, racing down the right for Chelsea, whips in a low ball which is under hit. It'll be collected by Lockyer, and Lockyer will steer it upfield. He was caught late by a maybe over-enthusiastic Maatsen, and that is going to be a yellow card.
Yeah, just got to try and read that situation. There was no way that Gusto was going to get the ball to the far post as he's chasing that ball down towards the byline. The only thing he could do was get it towards the near post, and Maatsen just read that a little bit late, and you're right, it was just a little bit over-exuberant, didn't need to make the tackle in the end.
Reece James among those on the injury list for Chelsea. We expect him to come back in late September, but Malo Gusto is impressed on his start tonight. Another start for him after beginning the game against West Ham.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to say it's not a big drop, because Reece James for me is one of the best right backs or right wing backs in world football. I really believe that, but it is a worry that he keeps on picking up injuries. So all the time Malo Gusto gets first team football, looks like he's confident, will be good for Chelsea.
Maatsen down the far side, the Chelsea left, tries a cross, it takes a big deflection, it'll be hammered away by Amari Bell, up into the air. 4 added minutes at the end of the game. 3-0 Chelsea lead Luton on Talksport, and the ball will be cleared upfield by Mads Andersen, former Barnsley defender. The ball is collected by Thiago Silva of Chelsea, nudged in field by Colwill to find Enzo Fernandez, who manages to wriggle away from 2 in white. And Chelsea looking very composed here, heading for their first home victory in the Premier League since March, and their first win, much more importantly, of the season, and a first win under Maurizio Pochettino. We've got lots of live football over the weekend. We've got boxing, we've got rugby and golf as well across the Talksport network. The best way to be across everything is to download our app. That way you can switch between both stations at your leisure. We're online, we're on DAB, we're on 1089 and 10:53 AM on the smart speaker, or as I say, via the Talksport app. Chelsea fans starting to file into the night now. Scott Minto, the job is done certainly for Chelsea, and if they can finish the final 3 minutes of added time without conceding, it'll be just about a perfect night's work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think fair play to Luton, the way they've shown a lot of resilience. I think 2-0 will probably be a fair scoreline. Chelsea have been the better team. You know, Luton have been very much on the back foot. I'm not quite sure it's a 3-0 game, but Chelsea do deserve to come away at least with a 2-goal lead and all 3 points. And, you know, that's the big win for Pochettino. If they hadn't have won tonight, tell you what, the knives would have started to come out. Not necessarily for him and his future, but certainly just trying to, you know, social media and certain parts of the media trying to put the pressure on. 3 games down, no wins. You haven't beaten a promoted side at home as well. So, yeah, a very important win.
Well, that's probably the biggest cheer of the night. Certainly for the substitutions as Raheem Sterling leaves the field. He got a little time to try and get his hat-trick. Couldn't complete it in the end, but a fine night's work for Sterling. And here comes a young Mason Burstow on what is a special night for him, his home debut for Chelsea.
Well, I want to give Charlton another mention here. Obviously a signing from Charlton a couple of seasons ago, and again, fair play to him. You know, very good goal scorer, very good finisher, but I felt the move was a little bit early for him. But all last season, clearly Chelsea worked on him, and in pre-season again, he's done well and had minutes on the pitch. So fair play to him for now proving to Pochettino that he's worthy of being on there. You know, you still have to be a very good player and be in good form to even be brought on 3-0. There's no doubt about it. The pressure's off, and Poch can do pretty much what he wants, but he obviously believes in Mason Burstow to say, look, OK, I want you to get experience of first-team football.
Well, Charlton did a lot of good work to develop him as a player.
Of course they did.
We're going to have to start keeping a tally, aren't we, Scott, with your... Well, Charlton, Bromley, all sorts.
Absolutely.
3-0 to Chelsea, last minute of added time. The game is long done, and Chelsea just playing out the final few seconds. Maurizio Pochettino is standing at the edge of his technical area with his arms folded. There are a couple of television cameras trained on the Chelsea boss. The Luton fans defiant to the end as they sing in the shed end. The vast majority have stayed to the end, but for Luton, they will now turn attention to the Carabao Cup, and then, more importantly for them, next Friday night's league game, their first Premier League game at Kenilworth Road against West Ham on Talksport. Thiago Silva for Chelsea threads the ball neatly to the left, having shown very quick feet to skip away from Brown. And now here's Caicedo on the halfway line, prods it up towards Gallagher. Can Chelsea finish with a flourish? Gallagher going up the middle. He's set up Enzo Fernandez on the edge of the penalty area, surrounded by white shirts. Referee will play the advantage. He thought about blowing for a free kick. Chelsea have it right in the middle of the Luton half. We've had the 4 minutes of added time. And here is Ugo Chukwu on the edge of the penalty area. Good little spin and turn by Mason Burstow for Chelsea, but he can't keep control of the ball. Luton clear. That's the full-time whistle. And Chelsea have their first victory under Maurizio Pochettino. The new era is off and running. It's official, and it's been a sterling night for Chelsea. A great night for Raheem Sterling, who seems like he's back to his best under the new head coach. A great deal more hope at Chelsea this season than there was last year. Who knows what they can achieve over the course of the campaign. There's a long way to go, but they've got their first victory under their new boss. They are up and running. They've beaten Luton here by 3-0. And for Luton, well, perhaps it's a case of what might have been in the game for long periods, but they couldn't really carve out enough clear-cut chances to really test the Chelsea goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez, who only had that one save to make, really, from Ryan Giles midway through the second half, at which point, had Luton scored, who knows which way this game could have gone. But Chelsea, having taken the lead through Raheem Sterling early on, managed it well enough. They missed several chances in the second half before Sterling extended the lead, tapping home from Malo Gusto's cross. And then really the biggest cheer of the night was when Sterling turned provider. Having scored twice, he set up Nicholas Jackson to poke home his first goal for the club, Chelsea's third of the evening, and round off a satisfactory night under the lights for Maurizio Pochettino. It finishes in the Friday Night Football. Chelsea 3, Luton 0.
Joe Shannon, thank you very much. And the Chelsea faithful here go home fully satisfied. Their first home win in the Premier League since the 4th of March. Their side was dominant, not perfect, but they showed us that they certainly have the basis of a very exciting side. And just beneath us, Luton Town's players go over to their 3,000 fans. Barely any of them have left their seats. They all stand and applaud, show their appreciation for their side's efforts this evening. Their side did them proud, I think, here, despite the scoreline, and they showed us that that side will cause trouble to teams that don't come completely on their game to face Luton Town. As Jason Cundy, our very own, says goodbye to us, he leaves very happy man indeed, as is Scott Minto, the former Chelsea defender, alongside me. And we've got to talk about Raheem Sterling's performance. When you've got an inexperienced team, how important is it that your senior players like him are at their absolute best? And it looks like he's nearing his absolute best out there.
Absolutely. Look, first of all, Hugh, actually it's really important for him personally to be playing well, because he didn't have a good season last season and everyone was looking towards him to be one of the leaders. And actually in pre-season there could have been an argument for him not starting this season because others had played arguably better. So for him to be doing so well, I thought West Ham was absolutely superb. Against Liverpool he was really, really good. Tonight he bossed it as well, and there were moments where, you know, it's so difficult for the Luton defenders to try and stay close to him. I thought the goal was just brilliant. You know, you're right about there was too much of a gap, but he took the gap, he went past another player and then had the composure to just stroke it into the far post with his left foot. But again, it's 2 goals, it's 1 assist. And in terms of what you were saying about the young players, it is absolutely critical that the young players, both on the pitch and off the pitch, kind of look up to the senior pros, because they set the example, they set the principles of what a club is all about, the DNA, and the way that a Didier Drogba, a John Terry, a Frank Lampard, and Ashley Cole, a Petr Cech, and Michael Ballack, all those did naturally. You know, we don't have those in a Chelsea shirt anymore. So when you do have some senior pros, that was a senior pro performance.
Got to say, these Luton Town fans making huge noise. As I say, virtually all of the 3,000 still here to show the appreciation to their side, just as loud as they were at kick-off. So I think they're going to savour their Premier League experience. But I wanted to go back to a play you mentioned so many times during commentary, Nicholas Jackson, who got his first Chelsea goal this evening and worked tirelessly throughout the night, and he's someone who could be a real focal point.
Do you know what? Raheem Sterling probably, I mean, he probably won't care what I'm going to say, but he also probably won't be happy I won't give him the man of the match, just because I think that Nicholas Jackson coming into this game, or coming into Chelsea, where the number 9, only Diego Costa, there's been so many good number 9s, sort of name-wise, that have actually worn that shirt or been that striker for Chelsea, and yet it's not happened for them. He looks like he is really ready to grasp the nettle and say, I'm going to be the Chelsea number 9 that can lead the line. The way he used his strength, his power, his movement off the ball, but also with it, the 1-2s he has defenders hanging off him. But I'm also really pleased for him that he got in the right place at the right time and got that goal. It was a fantastic striker's performance. So for him, for Raheem Sterling, Enzo Fernandez looks great, Ben Chilwell down the left-hand side. There are so many positives.
Moises Caicedo as well. First home start for him here tonight. He just went about his work silently, as he always does, but his reading of the game allowed Enzo Fernandez and Conor Gallagher to think more offensively, and I think that was a real reason why they were able to be on the front foot for so much of the game.
Yeah, look, I think, Luton are not going to come here and try to get, more than 50% possession. I think 3/4 of their wins last season, they had less than 50%. Caicedo put in a really good performance. It wasn't one of the best 2 or 3. It was a very solid performance where he can gain confidence.
Finally, we've got to talk about Luton Town. How much pride do you think Rob Edwards will take from the way that they performed tonight? But also, how much will he learn about the areas they need to improve on?
I think he will take a lot of pride. For those first 20 minutes, they were so much on the back foot and they never wilted. Yes, they conceded the first goal, but actually came back into it towards the end of the first half. Start of the second half, they had opportunities to equalise. And that would be my one problem with Chelsea, that they didn't really see Luton off. But that's credit to Luton. The fans never stopped, never gave up, were always cheering all the time, and their team reflected that as well. They don't quite have the quality to come here and go and score 2 or 3 goals to get the 3 points. I never thought that would happen. But the positives they can take from that going forward, I said at the start of the programme, these games will not define whether Luton stay up, but they can either give you confidence or take that confidence away. And I think despite the 3-0 scoreline, they'll come away with more confidence and say, do you know what? We actually can live in the Premier League.
Chelsea fans, if you want to give us a call on Talksport, you can have your say, as we can each and every night. You two Hatters, I think your side did you proud, but it was a great night for Chelsea fans as well. 03717 223344. Danny Kelly and Carlton Cole with you very, very shortly. Scott Minto, thank you very much. Up next for Chelsea, AFC Wimbledon in the EFL Cup. That's on Wednesday. Talksport 2, they'll host Nottingham Forest here on Saturday. Luton will host Gillingham in the EFL Cup on Tuesday. We'll have their live game on Friday night here on Talksport. We will be at Kenilworth Road. First Premier League game for Kenilworth Road as Luton host West Ham live on Friday night. Remember, tomorrow exclusively we've got Bournemouth against Spurs. That's your 12:30 kickoff. We'll have Manchester United against Nottingham Forest from 3. Sunday in the Championship, Watford take on Blackburn. That's a midday kickoff. Tonight, by the way, Hull and Bristol City drew 1-1 in the Championship. But that is it from here tonight for Luton. Back-to-back defeats to start life in the Premier League. 7 goals conceded, and despite periods where they were well in the game, I think a lack of quality is clear to see, and it could be a very long season for them. But a special night for Mauricio Pochettino. He picks up his first win as Chelsea head coach. It's Chelsea's first win of the Premier League this season. Their first in front of their home fans since March, at the 10th time of asking, and it ends their worst home run for 35 years. 2 goals from Raheem Sterling, who assisted a first Chelsea goal for Nicholas Jackson, and it ends here live on Talksport. Chelsea 3.